Okay, so today I'm going to be doing my re-review of season 2 of Dancemoms, giving a little bit more detail, talking about every episode, and let's just get into it. So first up, obviously episode 1. So Abby asked why Holly wasn't present, and then she was mad that she has a job, and it's just so funny how she contradicts herself, because in season 1, she literally said, I have the moms who sit up in the observation mezzanine and degrade other people's children, and then she's talking about go get a job, and then when Holly has a job, she's mad that she has a job. So yeah, that was stupid. And then she announced that she was going to have a open audition this season, and she was saying everyone's replaceable yet again, and Christy's confessional with that was funny. So I believe the pyramid was Maddie on top, Chloe, Nia, Paige, Brooke, and Mackenzie. Then they have group rehearsal, the moms discuss the pyramid. After he has her pyramid, Abby and Nia discuss Holly not being there again, and then Holly comes back and then she argues with Abby, and so they have a whole moment and everything, and Holly she said, you're intimidated by me because I do have a doctorate, and Abby said, bull. Some of these scenes are just so funny. So yeah, they argued about that, and then Holly takes Nia out to lunch and she tells her, like, I'm gonna have to miss the competition. Leslie and Peyton get introduced to the show, and then Leslie was mad that Peyton didn't get put on a team, and Abby was like, it's because she's too tall, and she said put her on it some other way. What is she supposed to do? I'm confused. Like, Abby said you'd have to cut her in half. Like, she explained to you pretty clearly why she's not on the team. She's older, she's way taller than everyone else. Brooke only works because she's 5'1", and she broke the growth plate in her back, so she like works, but Peyton just doesn't work. So Leslie and that argument with Abby was so stupid. Then she announces that Kendall made the team, and they said that Kendall basically already made the team. The audition was just formality for the show. And then we had Maddie, Nia, and Chloe's solo rehearsal show. And then Abby saying that the music video recognition was getting Chloe's head, like, let's be for real. And also, like, people are recognizing Chloe and everyone else because you're on a TV show, not really because of the video for the most part. We know about that video because of the show, no shade. And so Jill and Kendall come in, and then they meet Jill, and then Chrissy in her confessional, I think, was talking about Jill's 900 voice, which is hilarious. And then Melissa and the moms call out how they beat Jill's studio in the past and everything, and Jill's like, oh really, like, you know, and she's kind of just trying to get to know everybody. And then they have group rehearsal, and they tell Abby that Brooke wants to go to a football game. Kelly tells Abby they're leaving. Abby was really rude to Brooke, and Kelly defends her. Holly tells Abby that she won't be coming to the competition, and I'm pretty sure this is the one where she walks out to the car and it's like raining or snowing or whatever, and then Abby rolls up the window, which was just really hilarious to me, but Abby was disrespectful in that. And then Jill got Abby a gift, and then Kelly was making fun of her in confessional, calling her a gift giver, and then Chrissy was funny in the confessional as well. And I don't know why Abby put so much pressure on Chloe, talking about don't forget your dance. Like, it was unfortunate she forgot her dance, but I mean, Chrissy said somewhere in the episode, she was like, how many dances does she remember for you every single week? Like, why put all the pressure on her? And so for the solos, Maddie had her Jubilation Bells solo, which I thought was really entertaining. She did great. Chloe's Born to Sing solo, I thought was a really good bounce back after another season. I thought it was fun, especially the ending pose. Like, you can tell she just really enjoyed the solo. I thought it was good music, good choreography for both of them. Nia had One Small Girl, which was good. And then Kendall has her first solo, Bring on the Boys. I thought it was mid. I thought Abby kind of set her up with the choreography and stuff like that, and just with the music. It was just underwhelming. And yeah, Kendall just had better performances. It just wasn't it, no shame. Nia got fourth. Chloe and Maddie got first in both of their categories. And Jill asked Abby's thoughts on Kendall, and then they argue, and Kendall cries and says that she wasn't prepared. And I'm pretty sure Abby was like, you know, I don't want to hear these excuses, or something around there. She probably said that. And then Abby was like, save your tears for your pillow and suck it up. And she said that, you know, Kendall's performance basically disappointed her, you know. And the Sassy Dolls group was okay overall. I think they've had better group dances, but yeah, it's not half bad. It's kind of camp. And so the group won, and the Abby ripped into the girls after the group, and then she was talking about her parents. If they looked at me one time, I knew. And then she's like, you know, practices every day, 4:30 to 9:30. Plan on it. And then she has the argument with Kelly whenever Kelly's like, I can show you my Discover card payment that shows. And she said, hey, you're the reason I don't even take Discover anymore. That is literally like my favorite exchange on the show, because like, how did you think to say that? And then Kelly was just so shocked afterwards. I'm sorry, like, this season premiere definitely ate. So yeah, Melissa and Jill were basically talking about the argument, and Jill's like, is it like this all the time? And Melissa's like, you can't trust Kelly and Christy. And then Jill was like, oh, I think I can trust Melissa. And I said this before, but why do you think that you can trust Melissa is so beyond me. But yeah, really good season premiere, good way to set the tone for the season, I feel. Now on to episode 2. So we're at Pyramid, and I think that Abby was saying something about Kendall, and I think Jill was trying to defend her, and then she said, we don't get to talk, it's my turn. So for the Pyramid, Maddie was on top, Chloe, Nia, Paige, Brooke, Mackenzie, and then Kendall. And then I think that some of Abby's reasons are so ridiculous for why she has them in certain places. I think she was talking to Paige, and she said, we told you to sit down 32 times. And it's just like, why should that influence their place on the Pyramid? I feel like how they perform at the competition should really be how they are on there. And so I've heard different things, like the producers choose like who is where on the Pyramid and stuff like that, and maybe that's just how it is. Maybe she has some collaboration with them on the Pyramid and she gets to decide. But I wonder if some weeks like she just has to like give up, and then she has to make reasons on the spot like why they are where they are, because you think that she would place girls certain places based off of last week's performance, but they go higher or lower. So yeah, I'd like to know more about how much influence she had in Pyramid in general, but I digress. And then Abby was so rude. She said, maybe someone from Nia's family can show up and clap for her. Oh my god. And so Jill said she really didn't think Kendall would be on the bottom. This was her first week. Like, I don't know how you didn't anticipate her being on the bottom, but like, let's be for real. And then the Bad Apples group rehearsal. And so Jill takes some shots at Nia. And so, yeah, she does this all the way throughout her time in the show. And like, rewatching it back, I'm seeing how many shots she took at Nia and Holly. And like, I'm noticing something. That's all I'm saying. And so Christy clocked it. Like, you can't come down and lay the gauntlet that like my kid is better than your kids and stuff like that, and then get shocked whenever the moms feel away about it. And that's what a lot of the moms do. And so I get a lot of people saying like the moms are like kind of catty and rude to the new moms who come on, and sometimes they deserve it, sometimes they don't, but a lot of the times it kind of starts with all the moms basically, you know, hating on their kids and saying that their kid is so much better and all that stuff, especially that one mom in season 4 who said that her kid was just slumming it with everyone else. Okay, well then why did you bring her here? Because you wanted to be on TV, because you wanted to be at Abby's studio. So if you think she's so much better, then why bring her to the studio? But I kind of digress. And then Christy sets up Jill to talk to Abby, knowing exactly what happened, but it was just pure entertainment. And so then we go to Kathy's studio and we see what she's doing over there. And Christy meets with Kelly for lunch, and she brings this competition book, which proves ultimately that their daughters did end up beating Kendall the competition, as previously discussed. And so Kathy and Erica have the rehearsal there. And then she literally says, is Brooke a 2-time title winner like you? No. Like, really? Like, Kelly has literally said that Brooke was the Maddie before the show and that she won all the awards and all that stuff. So, yeah, Brooke definitely has a title in her name. I'm like, why are you just making up lies now? Like, it's crazy. And then we see the iconic sing, I cut my finger on my mom's ring. I hope I can still dance. And then there's a scene where Kelly comes in to bring some props and stuff like that. And she said, do you want us to be hands-on moms? Because you just told Nia her mom didn't love her. Like, some of these scenes, no matter how many times I talk about them, like, I still laugh because it's just so funny to me. And then she's literally asking Kelly during rehearsal if she was drinking, which was out of line. And then Kelly was crying because she's like, why did I put my kids here again? And Abby calls Holly and Jill down to watch the group rehearsal and just their girls and stuff that she felt like they weren't really doing right. And the moms ask Melissa about Jill and why, if she lives so close, then why are you just now coming to the studio? Because you're driving, what, an hour out of your way to go to the studio when this one is like 10 minutes away. Like, why are you just now coming here? You know, they're trying to see Jill's intentions. And so now we're on the bus, I believe. Melissa and Jill bought Abby a gift, and the confessionals, again, pure comedy, especially the one that Christy did. And so they end up getting to the competition, and they got an apple from Kathy, and they are invited to a little get together. And so they kind of talk about like why they still stay at that studio, and Christy's like, I thought she hated us, like why is she trying to poach us from the studio? Abby found out that she invited them to there and she felt like that was messed up. So the group dance, Bad Apples 8, and I think it's just a really fun group dance. I think it has entertainment value, good music, good choreography, so I always like the group dance. And then the Candy Apples group dance, Baila Española, was good. One of their only few group dances that was worth a damn, in my opinion, because most of their group dances suck, and I blame Kathy and whoever choreographs it because it's trash. But you know, I kind of digress. And so Abby and the moms mentioned like the girls look 14, 15, you know, and so Abby rips into the girls about the group dance after it's done, and then the moms tell Abby about how the girls look older. And I'm pretty sure this is whenever Abby was like, yeah, I know, but I kind of look like an idiot that I can't win on my own, that I have to bring up something about the age. So for the group, Candy Apples gets second, the ALDC wins, and then Kathy asked to see the scores. And it was actually 287 Abby's group versus 275. So 13-point difference is actually kind of crazy. And so one thing I noticed is that Maddie had on her Reflections costume on in this episode, but we don't see her perform a solo in this episode. So like I said, it's just interesting to see the parallels and stuff like that. I heard she had a Snow White solo, but we never saw that on the show. And then Brooke does her Garden of Eden solo, which I thought it was cool with a bedazzled apple. I thought that she danced well. So definitely one of her best. And then Erica's solo was called Through the Looking Glass. I hate the song. It was like some Eminem knockoff. It was a chop for me, but I mean, I just couldn't get past the song no shade. She probably danced well. And then Chloe brought up how she heard them asking about Erica's age and all that stuff. And so then they go to Erica's mom and Kathy, and they're like, okay, like, when was she born? And they're like, that's 97. And then Kathy's like, okay, but you need to ask about Brooke because she's also in the wrong category. And so when they come to ask about Brooke, Abby's like, was it Kathy from Candy Apple that was saying that? And then she brings up Erica. And so, yeah, both of their ages get confirmed overall. Erica was 14, I believe, which, like, she was in the wrong age division. Kathy says that the producers put her on the wrong age division. But like I said, I'm so tired of them blaming every single thing that happens on the producers. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's just getting really, really old. Maybe it was them, maybe I don't, but I'm just tired of hearing that excuse. But verified Brooke's age because they sent in her birth certificate, like they faxed it. So that's how they verified Brooke. Brooke ends up winning with her solo. Erica got disqualified. And then the mom's like, oh, they're just jealous. She was in the wrong age category, but I digress. And so Paige was in the solo costume, which I thought was really interesting because, again, we don't see her perform that solo. Kathy comes in the dressing room, and I thought it was so funny whenever they were talking about the colors, like the white and red and the black and red, and then Kathy's like, better get me a birth certificate on that. And then they talked about the meeting and everything. Kathy and Christy argue, and Christy's like, this is Ralph Lauren there, honey. And then she said, be gone, witch, you have no powers here. So another really good episode. Now on to episode 3. So on top of the pyramid was Brooke, and then Chloe and Maddie. And then she mentions how Maddie won with her solo. Again, that wasn't aired, so we didn't see the solo she was discussing. It could have been Reflections, it could have been Snow White, not 100% on that. And so then Mackenzie, Paige, Kendall, and Nia. So that is the entire pyramid. They have a group rehearsal, and Christy asked Melissa if she was upset that Maddie wasn't on top. And she basically said, I think that it wasn't fair because she won, and Brooke also won as well. So, I mean, like, let's be for real. It's like they were kind of trying to, like, get her to be mad, and then she was, like, trying not to play the game, and they're like, okay, like, she's kind of BSing. But I feel like they kind of do that to her sometimes and whatever, but kind of digress. But yeah, no, I don't really go for Melissa. And so Brooke tells Kelly that cheer tryouts are on the same day as the competition, and it's something she wants to do. And Kelly says, you know, you're supposed to be the lead in this group dance. Abby will kill you. So, like, is this something you really want to do? And she basically, I think, says in the confessional, like, she wants to take her to it because she doesn't want Brooke to have resentment towards her and everything. And it's been said that these were fake for the show. So, yeah, let's just have the moment. It wasn't legit, according to Dancemoms Uncovered. I've referenced that channel multiple times. I'll try to link that video below if it's still up, but she did a whole video basically explaining, like, why it wasn't legit, and she has all the evidence for that. So then we have the solo rehearsal for Mackenzie Bigger Isn't Better, and the moms and Jill go out for drinks, and they discuss about how Brooke wants to go to cheerleading tryouts. And Melissa says it lets down the group if you aren't committed to the whole season. And then Maddie has the lights, camera, action rehearsal. Chloe has her Don't Catch Me solo rehearsal. And then they do the Born to Dance group rehearsal, and Abby realizes Brooke isn't there. Holly comes in, and the moms filled her in on the whole situation. Kelly comes to the studio. Abby started calling for Brooke, and Kelly tells Abby Brooke isn't coming, and she has cheer tryouts. And then Abby was mad that she didn't discuss it. She was like, she should have told me earlier. I would have been furious, but you know, that's a mature thing to do. Kelly was like, I don't think she's screwing anybody. And then Abby said, she's screwing me, I can feel it. And then Abby was like, the group dance is axed, like, we're not doing it, I'm not putting my name on it. And then the moms went to go talk to Abby. Abby says it's my way or the highway. Abby later says that she will send Gianna to the competition, but her name won't be on the number. And so she says, I would never let my child shake her pom-poms for some boy to go to college for free. And she said this in season 1, which I found. So I always love to find good dance moms parallel. So then they have rehearsal with Gianna, and they have to reblock the number. And Abby decides to go anyways. And the moms and the kids were just so deflated because they were so happy that she wasn't going to go. And then she switched up. And then for her to be dressed in all black, like she's going to a funeral, like, please. She said she went because she felt like she couldn't throw Gianna to the wolves. And so Kathy calls Melissa, and she's like, we should get the girls together. And then they find out that Kathy will be at the competition, and she said she'll be really mad if they lose. They get to the competition, and Chrissy had this really funny confessional about the girls needing a back brace or something like that I thought was hilarious. hilarious, and there was a funny moment in the dressing room too. And so Mackenzie has her bigger isn't better solo, which ate. And then Kathy and Abby were arguing about the seats and stuff like that, and Abby was like, unless I see a nameplate with your name on it, then I'm not moving. Chloe, don't catch me, ate. I wish we would have got to see the full solo. They would have released the footage, but they have the rehearsal footage on her YouTube channel, I believe. But one of my favorite solos by her, Maddie's lights, camera, action solo, ate. This is a jazz solo and everything. And you could tell that Maddie didn't really want to do a jazz number and stuff like that. Like, whenever she was talking to Gianna, I think Gianna was like, I like when you do jazz. And I think even Maddie was like, I don't. Like, I think she just preferred to do like lyrical stuff and all that and whatever. But yeah, I really liked lights, camera, action. I thought it was a fun solo. I thought she had the entertainment value. I think that she really sold it overall. And so Kathy brings up how Brooke isn't there, and then we see Brooke and Kelly at the cheerleading audition and stuff like that. Brooke ends up making it. Mackenzie wins with her solo. Maddie got third. Chloe got first. And Melissa was so delusional, because this is whenever Abby tells her that Maddie looked too professional to win, which was some BS. Like, they always have to make an excuse every single time Maddie doesn't win. Like, can we just be happy for Chloe? Like, I don't, like, why would you say that? And then the Candy Apples group was called Mermaids. Absolute trash. And Abby's confessional was so funny on here, and I think she was like Vivi on, Vivi off, and how it was like just the same thing with the group dance and her bringing in the ringers. So I thought that confessional was funny. Born to Dance, I've said this before, but this group dance, I've seen better from them. Not one of the best, not one of the worst, just kind of in the middle of the pack. Honestly, kind of forgettable for me. Candy Apples got 8th. And then Chrissy said, how do you like them apples? ALDC win. And then they go to Kathy's dressing room and ask about the bee costume. And this is the iconic one where Kathy's calling her a disco ball. And one thing I noticed, Holly's always bringing someone out of her room, whether that's the kids, whether that's Chrissy. She gotta make sure everyone get out of the room. So that was episode 3. Now on to episode 4. So Abby gives corrections for the group dance and stuff. And so for the pyramid, Chloe was on top, then Maddie, then Mackenzie, Kendall, Nia, Paige, and then she reveals Peyton. And, you know, I'm doing it in reverse order. She starts bottom, and then she goes all the way to the top and everything. So Peyton's going to be there for the number. And they reuse one of Christy's confessionals. They do this all the time. And she announces that she will be doing a new trio. So it's going to be Chloe, Maddie, and Kendall, and the group is about bullying. And Holly clocked how it's about bullying and how it was interesting considering her method of teaching exactly. And then for her to say that Nia's going to be the bully, that is so racially coded. So yeah, I didn't like that she did that. And now someone was talking about Kendall and Peyton competing for a spot. Let's be for real. Kendall was officially added to the team. Peyton wasn't. And so the moms say it was rotten that Paige was pulled from the trio. They have the group rehearsal. Holly said that she doesn't want Nia to play the bully and that she has a big problem with it, which I understand. Abby says, you know what? I'll make Peyton the bully. And then for her to say Chloe is the cockiest kid she has ever worked with, let's be so for real, and that she doesn't have a brain in her head. Are we serious? And then Chloe was crying. And Chloe said she didn't understand what Abby was asking for with the choreography, because Abby wants to say, oh, now she wants to be a choreographer and stuff like that. And I think Chloe was just too scared to ask and everything. So that was kind of unfortunate how that situation went. And the kids and the moms go to Kelly's house to see Brooke and ask her about how cheer is going. And then Jill even says right here that Kendall fits in the team perfectly. So I thought that that was kind of funny. I believe Leslie is the one who says that Peyton should be in there above Kendall. Absolutely not. And Jill said something about being concerned with Leslie, I believe. And I agree with Kelly. Having Paige play the music for the trio was messed up. Leslie invites the moms for coffee, and Leslie asks the moms, like, why are you still at the studio if your daughters are so miserable and blah blah blah. And so they kind of have that moment and stuff. And I think she was mainly arguing with Christy about it, which, like, let it go. Like, they're still at the studio. Like, it is what it is. Like, they are still here, you are still here. Like, I don't know, we're still asking. I don't know why she was trying to say that Peyton should be able to stay before Brooke and Kendall. Like, Brooke has been part of that competition team, and Kendall was added as a member this season, so they have priority over Peyton, so that makes no sense. And they asked Holly how Nia feels about having the bully role taken away, and I think she said she was a little bit sad about it, but I think after she explained it, she understood something like that. And then I think Leslie was saying it was just a dance, and Holly said it might be a dance for you, but it's more than a dance to me. And so Leslie and Christy argue about why she's still there, like I mentioned earlier. Abby showed the moms the costumes, and so like I said, this was the dance, what goes around the bullying dance, just for some context. And Christy's like, this is like Parsa Tots the sequel. And so Abby talks about how Payne and Kendall are both on probation, and how how both moms kind of think that they have the advantage. Jill bribes Kendall $20 if she does well in the trio, and Abby tells Leslie and Jill that they're also on probation as well. And the trio, nothing more annoying than a man. It was just the mid trio, just in terms of the music, the choreography, and then there was that whole controversy between Chloe sitting further away from the mic, but she wasn't trying to set it off, so I get that. But it's just kind of forgettable in the grand landscape of, Dance Moms trios and dances, so it's just me. And then Abby talks to them about the trio, and they reuse Maddie's confessional. And so the solo Maddie did, The Girl I Want to Be, I think it was alright solo. And Abby put a lot of pressure on Chloe in this episode, and this is when she does her proof solo, which I think is an excellent solo. I really enjoyed the music on here, like the costuming, nice turns, technique. Like, I think that I had it all, and I wish we would have got to see like the full solo and everything, but I really like this solo a lot. It's very underrated. And then they get ready for the groups. Leslie and Payne are arguing about something. Abby and Christy argue. And then the group, what goes around, which is mid. Most of the group dances and numbers that Peyton's featured in, they're just mid overall. So, I will say that just fell flat. And so Abby was mad about the sign mishap because basically she thought that she placed the sign too high up on Maddie's back, and so you couldn't really see what it said. So she was arguing about that. I agreed with whatever Jill was saying in the confessional or whatever. I don't remember what she said exactly. Abby yells about the sign, and Payne said she felt like she was better than most of the people in the group performance-wise. And I don't know why they try to say that was taken out of context and stuff like that, because Abby asked her, like, you think you were better than most of the people in this group? And she said, yeah. So obviously, like, she's agreeing with what Abby just said. So I don't know how they're saying it was taken out of context and everything, because Abby clarified the question. Maddie won her category. I believe Chloe won her category, but it wasn't aired. That's what everyone says. It looks like the trio didn't place, the group didn't place. Abby talks to Chloe and tells her that she wants her to win. Abby talks to Leslie about Peyton. Leslie argues with the moms, and then Abby argues with Leslie again. Now on to episode 5. So Brooke asks Abby if she can come back to dance and everything, and she says, well, it's not that easy, Brooke. You let everyone down, you let me down, but she ultimately agrees because she felt like she put a lot of work into her, and she would hate to see her talents go to waste, essentially. Abby gives Kendall her jacket officially, and so she says that she's taken off probation, and then Christy has a confessional saying, like, she was like the Cheshire Cat, she was just grinning from ear to ear. And so Abby says that there's 2 studios coming to this competition specifically to beat us, so like we have to be on our A game. So for the pyramid, this is the infamous one where she reveals that Brooke is on top because she revealed everybody, and then they thought that Peyton was going to be on the top, and so yeah, it's kind of iconic. It is. And then Jill's like, Peyton just doesn't fit in with this group. Now Kendall fits right in perfectly. So yeah, that's this one. So Brooke is on top, and then Chloe, Maddie, Kendall, Paige, Nia, and Mackenzie, they have the group dance for the avalanche number. And so Christy H, she said whenever Jill got off probation, it was really her mouth that got off probation. The moms discuss the pyramid. Jill says that there's different levels of dancers to Holly, which we know what she's trying to imply there. And so Brooke has her Starry Night number rehearsal, and then Abby said she plays an alien from another planet, kind of like her mother. Mackenzie has the Party Starts Right Now rehearsal, and so the moms argue again with Jill. I think it was just about the special parts and stuff like that, and Kelly's like, get in line, girlfriend. And Jill's like, this is what I have to look forward to every week, her dancing behind Maddie and Chloe. And so she actually goes in and she asks Gianna, like, why doesn't Kendall have a special part? And so she's just like, if you have some time to give her a special part, like, I would really appreciate that. And then they go to Kelly's house to celebrate Brooke coming back to the team, and then the moms end up arguing again, and Christy clocked that Jill is just like Melissa, and Christy kicks Melissa out. And I think Kelly clocked this, but the fact that Christy kicks multiple people out of her house, like, is kind of crazy. But I mean, hey, you let her do it. And so Jill ends up defending Melissa. I think she felt like everyone was attacking her and stuff like that. So then Jill and Melissa end up going shopping. They have a little chat. Mackenzie has her solo rehearsal. Abby cries because she did her solo well. Brooke has her solo rehearsal, and this is a solo she was like, not only will you win, I demand that you win. Jill gives Abby and Gianna like massage people to do that and everything, and the moms fight on a clocker. And Jill was so messed up. She said, Holly, this bothers you because you've been an absentee mom. Let's face it. Like, oh my god, why would you say that? And then Chrissy has a confessional. She's like, I know, crazy, we're here and Melissa's here and Jill's on a whole other level. And then Kelly was like, I think when Jill came here, she was taking meds and she ran out. So they get to the competition, and she's like, I think Kendall's gonna stretch, even though she's, you know, not really part of the team or something like that. And she's like, when can Kendall be more a part of what everyone else gets a part of? So like they start arguing about that. Kenzie has her The Party Starts Right Now solo, which ate. I thought it was a fun solo, one of her best. Brooke Starry Night, I thought it was okay. She's had better solos. I think half of it was just the music and stuff like that. Meh. Mackenzie ends up winning, and Mackenzie really won a lot on the show when you really look back at it. So I have to say that. Also, something that I noticed is that Brooke notices that Mackenzie won before she did, like whenever they call it the number. So I thought that was interesting. Brooke got third in teen, and Abby in her confessional basically said she feel like Brooke could have won if she really gave it 100%. And so Jill puts on Abby's makeup, which is absolutely crazy to me. They go and perform the group dance Avalanche, which ate. I thought it was a fun dance. Chrissy's confessional ate, and the group gets second in junior. Abby disappointed in the loss. I thought that Chrissy's hair this episode, like in the dressing room, she ate that. And Abby ends up clocking Jill. Now on to episode 6. So for the pyramid, Mackenzie was on the top because she won. Then Chloe, then Maddie, Paige, Brooke, Nia, and Kendall. And Abby tells the moms that they're going to be helping with costumes this week. And Mackenzie has a solo rehearsal. The moms discuss the costumes and Kendall on pyramid. And then they discuss the contracts that they have with the studio. And I think this is whenever they kind of explain that the reason why they're still at the studio is basically because Abby puts in a clause that if you want to leave, you have to give her 100 grand in cash within 7 days. And if you don't, she blackballs you in the dance community and stuff like that. Also, if you leave the studio, they have said that like she keeps your titles and stuff like that. So that's part of the reason why the mom stayed. Like, yes, they had the show contracts, but they also had this. So I feel like that's a big thing that people should kind of talk about more, because they want to talk about why they should have left, and it just wasn't that easy from that standpoint. They didn't want their kids to be blackballed. So I wanted to throw that in the video. And so Kathy has her pyramid. She says all the girls are equal. Maddie's solo rehearsal. Then we have Kendall's solo rehearsal, because all the girls got solos this particular week. And the moms discuss pyramid. And Nia had some shade thrown by Jill in her confessional yet again. And so Kendall did not deserve to be on top. I'm pretty sure that Jill said that. I don't know why you would say that. And Christy clocked Jill yet again. Kathy has an open call audition, and then Peyton ends up coming in. She auditions and everything. Kathy offers her a spot, and she's kind of like, I don't really want to do it. But Kathy kind of clocked it, you know, with Leslie and everything for wasting her time. And Leslie's like, you should be so thankful she came up to the audition and blah, blah, blah. But I really see it from Kathy's perspective, because, like, I don't know, if you feel like you really didn't want to be in the team in the beginning, then, like, why even audition? Like, it kind of was a waste of time, no shade. And I'm pretty sure they said production made them do it, which, like I said, they blame everything on production. Nia's solo rehearsal, and then we see Chloe's solo rehearsal, and then Paige's solo rehearsal. And then Abby asked the moms about the solo costumes and everything, and I think this is when she comes and she basically says, like, I can either approve your costume, or I can ultimately veto the costume and everything. So, you know, she's kind of showing them, and they're talking about that. And then Abby gets a phone call, and they're like, the competition has been canceled. But I don't understand why they can't get their money back. You already canceled the competition, now they don't get their money back? That's stupid. And then she tells the moms, and they decide to go to another competition. Brooke's Who Am I solo was good. Mackenzie Shoulda Coulda Woulda was good. And then they asked Jill about her costume for Kendall, and then that's whenever they argue, I'm not Becky Homeki. Do y'all want me to leave? I'll pack my bags and go. I'm sick of this shit. Oh my, iconic. And then Christy's confessional, yeah, all-timer, I'm telling you. Jill's cussing and she's throwing things, and I'm thinking, you're so hard to take seriously in that hat. And Melissa tries to calm down Jill, and I thought it was so funny whenever Nia and Holly were getting ready for the solo, and then Nia just ends up running and everything. Like, it was just so funny to watch. Obviously I feel bad for Nia because she had like an anxiety attack in that moment, or a panic attack, but like, just like face value, not knowing the context, it was funny. And so Holly calms her down, and so she does her I'm gonna survive solo, which I thought was good. Jill was being so over dramatic with Kendall, and this is the one where she has her do the front area of the hallway, and she does her Sweet Little Lies solo, which ate. I forgot to mention this in my video where I ranked Kendall solos in season 2, but that's probably like a top 2 solo on season 2, if not number 1. I really enjoyed that solo. Chloe has her In for the Thrill solo, which was the ballet routine, which ate. Maddie's Maestro Man solo ate. And so she ends up falling on her front aerial, and they dragged it, because if you actually see the footage from the competition, because they posted it on YouTube, you can watch it for yourself. She fell, yes, but then she got up and finished the performance. They act like it ended the performance and stuff like that. And so, yeah, and then they carry her out. Abby comes to comfort her and stuff like that. If it had been any one of the other girls, Abby would have had a completely different reaction and everything, just talking about average favoritism. I think we can all agree with that. And then she ends up carrying her. Paige's Make Some Noise solo ate. Brooke got third. Chloe got second. Paige got first in their respective categories. And so I'm pretty sure that Paige actually beat Chloe at this competition, but I'd have to rewatch the footage again. Everybody got perfect scores on costumes, and Abby tells Jill that she has a big decision to make. And yeah, one of the best episodes of Dancemoms all time. Now on to episode 7. So for the pyramid, at the top was Paige, and the producer said they had to fight with Abby to get Paige on top of the pyramid, which was crazy because she won. And this is the only time she was ever on top of the pyramid on the show, by the way. And then it was Brooke and Chloe in the middle, and then on the bottom row it was Maddie, Kendall, Nia, and Mackenzie. And Abby decides to put Paige back in the trio, and the moms were really against the fake guns for the dance. This is the week that they ended up doing the privatized group routine and everything. And Melissa said, so I'm glad Paige is back in the trio. And Jill's reaction, priceless. And then Jill comes for Holly again. She's talking about, maybe if you were here more often. Oh my god. And so this is whenever they argued again, and then Chrissy was like, money well spent on those gifts. Jill gets Abby a bench, you know, so great timing there. And then the moms arguing about the bench. It actually ate. And Christy, whenever she said, maybe you'll be on top of the ass kissing pyramid. Exactly. Whenever Christy and Jill were arguing, I don't know why Christy was so offended when Jill said she doesn't get out much. Like, I really don't. She's like, you better stop right there. I'm like, why are you so offended? I really didn't get it. And so then we're back to privatized rehearsal, and then Abby actually has her own turns, like a little dancing moment in this episode. Whenever Abby dances, it's hysterical. Abby calls Jill down, and she's telling her to be more strict on corrections for Kendall and everything. Then we have the trio rehearsal for Over and Over, and Abby was basically saying in confessional that they learned the solo over the summer, so it should be going over what they already know. It shouldn't be that much issue, but it was over the summer. Like, that was months ago, and these are 9 and 10-year-old kids, so of course they'll probably forget it. So yeah, but then we go into the rehearsal, and Abby was just very unreasonable. She was yelling at the girls, and Kelly calls Paige in and tries to comfort her, and so does Christy as well, and Paige goes back in. Abby holds up 8 fingers. She's like, it's 8, not 7 or whatever she said, but she holds up 6 fingers. And so there was that, and then Abby said, was I politically correct? No. Was I furious? Yes. And then Melissa was defending Abby, saying they were just going over what they learned in the trios, no big deal. Because your kid wasn't getting yelled at, okay? Like, let's clock it. Then they have group rehearsal, and in Chloe's confessional, she was like, Abby said we were going to blow the competition away, and I hope she doesn't mean literally, because we could get disqualified. And the moms tell Abby that they have issues with the guns, and Abby's basically like, why are you criticizing me? I know what I'm doing. What she always says, basically. Chloe has her solo rehearsal for Please. Maddie has her solo rehearsal for Every Little Step. And then there is trio rehearsal, and Kendall's running the music this time. Jill was just mad because she felt like Kendall's time was being wasted, but it's funny because you didn't say anything when Paige was running the music, but when Kendall's running the music, now you've issued double standards. And I think she was like, what did I do for her to be doing this? And Chrissy was like, threw a shoe and everything. And she made a good point because she still wasn't on the bottom of the pyramid for that, so I will say that. And so Holly tells her that going down there is a bad idea. Jill goes down anyways. She said, why are you helping her? And, you know, Abby ends up letting Kendall go, and then Chloe does her Please solo at the competition, which I thought was good. Abby praises Chloe's solo in the confessional and everything, and she's like, this is the best emotional execution you've done yet, something like that, I believe. Maddie's Every Little Step solo I thought was great. And then the trio Over and Over, like I said, it's a chop. I think if they would have had another week on it, it could have been good, but they were just out of sync. It just didn't go. And so Chloe got second, Maddie got first, the trio got second. Abby argued with the moms about the trio, and then they asked Jill about the old studio friends, and Jill says that she has to keep her options open. The group dance, as pictured, was privatized. This is one of my favorite group dances. This is the first episode of Dancemoms that I ever remember watching, so kind of has some sentimental value, especially this dance, but I think that it's just a fun dance overall. And I'm pretty sure they were performing this in season 1 as well, because you can see them in their costumes in one of the episodes. I think it was like the second episode or something like that, but I think it's a fun dance overall. And even the mom said, like, we were worried about the guns, but it looked better than we thought, ultimately, in terms of that. And so the group won the category, but it didn't win overall. And Chloe was like, we got guns, what else can go wrong? Talking about that. Jill argues with Abby yet again. And Abby says that she has something perfect in mind for Kendall. On to episode 8, Nia was on top of the pyramid, and then it was Maddie and Chloe in the middle row, Mackenzie, Brooke, Paige, and Kendall, and she said that Kendall is back on probation. And Jill was mad, you know, she was basically just like, there's someone else who's gonna value her, and that's where we're going. And so Jill ends up leaving and everything, and Abby really lied when she said, I don't wake up to hurt a child's feelings, please. So I think she was talking to Brooke and she was like, do me a favor, just smile. And then the panda Brooke's face I thought was funny. And then the moms discussed Jill leaving, and I think Chrissy basically said she wasn't surprised about that. Jill calls Kathy. Abby asks about Melissa's engagement with Chloe and Maddie and Mackenzie, trying to get everything, and they wouldn't tell her anything. And then the moms actually go to see wedding dresses and, you know, try them on and everything. And I don't know why Melissa was lying about not caring about wedding dresses. Like, just say you're engaged, I don't want to talk about it, instead of lying you were engaged, because they see the rock on your finger, they already know. Like, I thought that was kind of stupid of her to do. Jill and Kendall end up going to Candy Apples. They basically said that the producers made them do it. So, I mean, there's that. And then they have group rehearsal, and the moms ask why not bring Greg if Kerr can't come, because this is when they did the head over heels, and Abby said, I want the dads to come. And she's like, I feel like it would hurt Kerr's feelings and everything. Jill goes to Candy Apples and teaches Kendall solo. And they get to competition, and then they end up seeing Kendall and Jill with Kathy, and then, you know, they were just shocked, like, I can't believe, you know, they would do this to us. And Kendall and Nia talk to each other before solos. Nia has her I'll do anything for you solo, which was good. This was a lyrical piece. And then Kendall has her I think I like you solo, which is good, but Abby claims that Kathy stole her routine and her costume and everything, and so Melissa tosses the bouquet in the dressing room, and Mackenzie doesn't catch it, so there was that scene. The group dance was head over heels, which ate. The Candy Apples group dance, which was called A Funeral, absolute trash. Abby confessional ate yet again, and so the group won, Kendall won, Nia didn't place, Nia was crying, and Abby was just like, you know, save your tears for your pillow. Jill gets a Candy Apples jean jacket, and Holly and Nia ultimately end up leaving early because of the way that everything went. She's like, I just don't like how it played itself out. On to episode 9. So this is the band episode of the show because of the inappropriate group dance that he did. So I was able to find it and watch it, but what I did is I just skipped through the group dance because it's a chop. So yeah, I just wanted to have that disclaimer on this episode. It's not on like streaming services and stuff like that. And so basically for the pyramid, Maddie was on top, and then Nia and Chloe, and she mentioned solos that they performed that we didn't see that week. And then the last row was Mackenzie, Brooke, and Paige. And so she said that they were going to be going back to Fire and Ice. I think she said they got invited back, the people who scored well, but I don't know, I kind of hated it. And the group dance was a chop. It was the one about the showgirls, and it's called Fantastic, and yeah. And the moms basically said that they're very uncomfortable with it. And how did Abby go from in season 1 when the woman talked about going topless and saying it was inappropriate to have them basically emulate that in a group dance, which was very inappropriate. I don't understand that. She can blame it on production all she wants, but at the end of the day, you let them do the dance. So yeah, that was just weird. I don't know why the moms let them do this. I don't know why the moms didn't just walk out of the studio that week and like, we're not doing this dance. They should have put their foot down because that was egregious. They talked about Melissa's engagement, and Abby sent the girls home, and she kept others to work on the choreography for the dance. Kathy and her husband discussed this jerky commercial they want to do. There's group rehearsals. The mom discussed the group dances again. Maddie and Chloe had their solo rehearsals, and Kathy and her husband discussed the commercials again. Abby shows the costumes, and Kathy calls Christy and asks if Chloe wants to be in her commercial, and Christy's like, let me think about it, and she's like, well, no, I need to answer now. And so they agree to be in the commercial. And Kelly tells Holly she wants to do a bachelorette party, aka having a stripper for Melissa, and so they shoot the beef jerky commercial with Chloe, and then there's group rehearsal. Abby asks where's Chloe at, and then when they get to the competition, they show Chloe's commercial, and Kirsty was mad. She was like, where's all the dancing that she did? Like, why she edited it out and have her look like a fool? And Abby was like, that's gonna come back to haunt you. You know, she's listed one of my best dancers. How could you do this to me? Chloe solo, which was the Raven 8. Maddie's I'm Already There was okay. And the group Fantastic, like I said, I skipped over that performance. Chloe got second, Maddie got first, group didn't even place. And then I think Melissa said, I never told them I was getting married, let's be for real. And then they end up bringing in the stripper, and yeah, it just didn't go well. So that's episode 9. Now on to episode 10. So Abby was mad that they didn't place. Like, the group routine was inappropriate, let's be for real. For the pyramid this week, Maddie was on top, and then Brooke, and she mentions a solo that won, but it wasn't aired. And then Chloe for the middle. For the bottom, it was Nia, Paige, and Mackenzie. And Paige tells Abby she has to get the warts cut off of her foot. Kendall has a private with Kathy, and Jill was just happy because she felt like she was being nice with the corrections, and like they were in a good place basically. And so they say that they hope Paige can do the trio because they were assigned one. They're worried about the whole wart situations. And they said that Nia would be a good replacement for the trio. And Chrissy suggests that Holly talks to Abby about it. And so she does. And Abby says that she was planning on Nia being this week anyway. And they kind of argue. Abby telling Holly to get the hell out of here and that she is expelled. Like, I don't know why she was getting that mad. It wasn't that serious in the context of that conversation. And then the next day she was mad that Nia and Holly weren't there. You said they were expelled. Like, I don't. And then we have the iconic "and then there were two" scene from Christy and Kelly. We're the only two bitches left. And Kelly and Paige go to the doctor to get the warts cut off of her foot. Maddie has her solo rehearsal. Chloe has her solo rehearsal. Kendall and Jill come into the Candy Apples. And Kathy got Kendall a Harlem Globetrotters opportunity to perform at one of their shows. And so there was the trio rehearsal. Holly and Nia end up coming back. Nia has her solo rehearsal. And they go to the beach, and Abby asked them if they watched the movie that she told them to watch in Pyramid, I believe. And Nia was the only one that did. So she made the other girls do push-ups, and she gets them to run their number at the beach. And not the instrumental for Summer Love Song playing before, you know, it's actually talked about on the show. I thought that was kind of, like, interesting. And then the girls go in the ocean, and then they forgot to bring Mackenzie back, and she's like, "Where's Mackenzie?" And she's like, "I could have gotten lost at sea." So then Kendall has her Harlem Globetrotters performance. I thought that it was a good performance overall. It was entertaining. They're still nervous about Paige, and they wonder if she'll be able to perform, and so she does. And the trio was Lace Divas. I thought it 8, so this was the one with the blue, the purple, and the pink. I thought it was a good solo. The group dance's Reputation, I thought it was fun. And so the group got 3rd, the trio got 2nd. And so Maddie has her All of My Life solo, which 8. Chloe has her Send Down Your Love solo, which 8. Nia has her By Love solo, which she forgot. And so Holly talks to the competition director and agrees to let her do it a second time. And I thought she was good. Nia ends up getting 3rd, Chloe got 2nd, and Maddie got 1st. Episode 11. So for the Pyramid, Maddie was on top, Paige and Chloe in the second row. On the bottom row was Brooke, Mackenzie, and Nia. And so they had the group rehearsal for Trapped in this episode. And so this is the one where Kelly and Chrissy are talking, and they said, "Where are all the bars on the same street called?" And Chrissy said, "Rehab." And Holly finds out that Nia ends up getting added to the trio. So this is the one whenever they did the Whatever I Want trio with Nia, Chloe, and Maddie. Holly says that she's going to take a leave of absence from work just to be there for Nia more, basically, and everything. And Kathy discusses how she has some clown number. And so I don't know why she would put Nia in the trio if she wanted to pull it anyways. Like, if you didn't feel like Nia could pull off the trio with Chloe and Maddie, then why would you put her in that trio to begin with? I really don't understand it. That makes no sense. And she was talking to Gianna about it. I didn't like that. You know, I'll say that. Melissa meets with Jill, and they catch up about what they've been up to. Jill tells her about the Harlem Globetrotters opportunity. They have trio rehearsal. Candy Apples has group rehearsals. And then Melissa was dragging it, not wearing the ring again. Like, just say, "I don't want to discuss it," and everything. Like, it was dragging. And so then, you know, they argue again. They ask why she wasn't wearing it. And then she goes down, "These people are starting this again." And she calls Greg, "They're starting this again." And then Melissa and Mackenzie leave, and she lets Maddie stay. And Abby gets mad at the moms, and Kelly tells Abby to shut up and everything. Melissa comes back, and Melissa tells the moms that she met with Jill. And the moms, I think, were basically like, "Why are you still meeting with Jill?" Something like that. And they kind of discuss what Jill was talking about. And Maddie has a reflections rehearsal. And not there being a Kendall diss. I think she said something like, "Make sure your legs are straight on like Kendall's," or something like that. I was like, oh my god, like, now you dissing Kendall in rehearsal. And Abby does that all the time. And then Maddie does her reflections of the competition, which 8. Justice Keep This Face solo was mid. And then the trio, Whatever I Want. I thought it was entertaining, but there were some big timing issues. Maddie gets first. The trio didn't place. Holly, Kelly, and Christy go to lunch and discuss the lawsuit that Melissa sent them and everything. And so then Melissa comes in, and they bring up the letter, and she was like, "I didn't send it. That was Greg's attorney." And they're like, you know, friends don't sue friends. The group dance was Trapped, which 8. The Candy Apples clown dance, it was okay. Taylor gets injured. And then Jill's confessional, really, I think she was basically saying like, oh, it's unfortunate that Taylor got injured, but she's fortunate to have Kendall because she can fit into any of Taylor's positions. I'm like, oh my god. The group gets 3rd. Kathy comes in with a gift for Melissa, and Melissa's like, "I can't accept it," because she was talking about the engagement. She's like, "I'm not allowed to discuss it." And then episode 12, Abby talks about the competition for the Pyramid. It was Maddie, Brooke, Mackenzie, Paige, Nia, and Chloe. And I feel like she had some BS reasons about the Pyramid, as per usual. And then she basically explains that the Joffrey Scout will be coming this upcoming week, and that it's a big opportunity. And so then Chrissy cooks in the confessional, And so the moms were worried about all the numbers and just said, like, they felt like Abby had too much on her plate. And they discussed pyramid for that week. And then Kelly had this funny joke about the group dance nip and tuck. She was like, why is Crowley like crawling on her arms? And she was like, they got cut off maybe? Nip and tuck. I thought that was funny. And then Nia has the trio rehearsal. She twists her ankle in the rehearsal. They go to the doctor, and then they're like, she has to tape her foot. Maddie has solo rehearsal, Chloe has solo rehearsal. And so she gives Chloe a break in the rehearsal because she felt like she wasn't catching on to what she was giving her. And then she has Maddie dance for the senior company. And so I feel like it was kind of messed up of her to do and everything. I agree with what Christy said. And then Chloe comes back, and Melissa doesn't stand up to Abby because she likes the special treatment. So, you know, let's just get that out there. And Melissa goes down to Abby. Christy asks Melissa if she can come back and continue the conversation and everything. And Christy, Kelly, and Holly go to Mohan's, and they have a conversation there. Maddie, Chloe, and Brooke have their tree rehearsal. Abby says that Maddie's off, and whenever they are going to the competition, she was trying to get the bus driver to stop to pick up her dog, and he's like, I'm not doing that. Bus driver Jim put her in her place. And Melissa bought Kelly a bra, and then Chrissy's confession was funny. They get to the competition. Maddie was just stressed about everything that she had on her plate that week. Maddie, quiet voices, solo 8. The trio, somebody told me 8. This was the one with Brooke, Chloe, and Maddie, and this is their first time doing a trio together. And so I really enjoyed it. It's like my favorite trio from that season. And then the other trio was with Mackenzie, and it was Paige and Nia. And I think when I was talking about Christy being right in the confessional, I think she was basically just saying it was kind of unfair for her to put those trios up against each other that week. And I definitely agree and everything. So, you know, there's something there. And I feel like they air these out of order because I swear, like, before their trio goes on or after it, you can see Chloe, Maddie, and Brooke rehearsing for their trio. So I'm just like, I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe they were rehearsing to do it again because they filmed the dances twice for the show, but I don't know if it was always like that for the show or if they started doing that in later seasons because they have, so they filmed the dances twice for the show, but I don't know. I thought that was interesting. I'm like, maybe they do air the dances out of order sometimes. I don't know. And so then Chloe has her watercolors fade solo, and then she forgets like 2 parts of the solo and everything. And so, yeah, there was that. I mean, I thought she looked good for what she remembered and everything. And so she tried her best to recover. And so the group dance was nip and tuck this week. I thought at 8. And I think Christy said something in one of the podcast episodes about how she was highlighting all the girls' insecurities, which was messed up. Maddie wins with her solo. Chloe didn't place. The Somebody Told Me trio with Chloe, Maddie, and Brooke ends up winning. Other trio didn't place. The group dance didn't place. The Joffrey Scout comes in and he invites them to another audition. Now into episode 13, so she talks about the competition in Michigan, how she felt about it. And then for the pyramid, Maddie's on top. In the middle row was Brooke and Nia. And then the last row was Chloe, Mackenzie, and Paige. And then she said some BS about how Paige didn't put her phone away. Again, it should be based off what they did at the competition. And then she talks to them about this new Joffrey opportunity, and she tells the moms to buy them appropriate attire for this, and she informs them that they will also be competing at a competition that week as well. And Kathy tells her kids that they will also be auditioning for the Joffrey Ballet School. They prepare for the audition as well. And Holly asks Abby for leotard advice, like what's the best thing to buy. The moms go leotard shopping, and they get that done, and she prepares Kendall for her audition. Chloe has her solo rehearsal, and Maddie has her solo rehearsal. Melissa says that Maddie and Mackenzie forgot their dance bags. Abby was mad about that. And it was something about them forgetting their shoes. And Christy was like, it's like $14.99. Go down the street and buy a new pair. And she ate that because why wouldn't you just go buy a new pair? It was like so much for all that. Then they have group rehearsal. Holly, Christy, and Kelly go out for lunch and they discuss the week. And then they get to the Joffrey audition. Christy hears Kathy. Her confessional was funny for that, by the way. The girls audition. And so I kind of don't get her having them audition for the Joffrey and not having them do ballet because it's a ballet school. I agree with people saying that. And so, you know, there was that. And so then they get to the competition and then they end up rehearsing the dance. The group dance this week was Hurt Them First. I think it was supposed to be a spin on Cell Block Tango. I think it was a chop. You know, it just didn't work. Candy Apples was Almost Heaven. It was a chop, but it was slightly better than Hurt Them First. ALDC gets 10th for the group dance. Candy Apples gets 9th. And then they come in and we kicked Apple. And then Abby is just distraught. And she says, my reputation is humiliated. So there was that. That scene is so funny. And then the Joffrey director says that they want to offer Chloe a scholarship on the phone. And they're really excited about that. And Maddie got upset. And Kendall was crying rehearsing her solo and everything. I think it was because the costume just didn't fit right. I think she said that in her confessional, all that stuff. And I think Christy was saying she didn't have enough time to put together Chloe's costume and everything. And I don't know why Abby was gossiping about Chloe's costume to Maddie. She's like, oh, that's a lot of costume. Like, why do you have such a problem? Like, it was just weird. And she's like, don't look at her, because she'll know that I was talking about her, basically. Kendall's solo was Queen of Hearts chop overall with the choreography and all that stuff, and the costume was too heavy, so I think that's why it didn't translate. She couldn't really dance how she wanted to because of that. Maddie has her In My Heart solo, and this is the episode where she forgets it and runs off the stage, and Kelly clocked it that they put way too much pressure on Maddie and that she wasn't really surprised that she forgot the solo and everything. Chloe has her Red Queen solo, which we would have got to see more of that solo. And then, they all end up comforting Maddie afterwards and everything. And so Christy and Holly clocked it about Maddie forgetting the solo and Abby's different reaction to it because she was comforting her and all that stuff. There is a deleted scene where they ask if she can go again. And then Maddie's like wanting to go and Abby's like, no, like you're not going to get to go again. So there is that. But she was like comforting her and she was acting differently than the other girls because whenever the other girls forgot, it was a completely different reaction. And, they were like, the girls all hurt the same and everything. And Christy was saying the kids no and everything. So like, yeah, they were just like really mad with that. And Melissa was trying to defend Abby. Kendall got 7th, Chloe got 1st, Abby skipped the awards, and Holly clocked it. She said, save it for your pillow. And Abby ends up leaving, and, they say basically that she left because of her mom, and then she says it was because of Maddie's forgetting her solo. So I don't know what the truth is, honestly, but that was that episode. Now on to episode 14. So Abby was late to Pyramid, and she discusses the competition, and she said that she did leave because Maddie forgot her solo, and the moms clocked her for leaving early and the double standards, which I agree with. So for the Pyramid, Chloe was on top this week. In the middle row, it was Mackenzie and Maddie, and yeah, everyone was kind of shocked because how was she that high when she forgot her solo? All the other girls were at least on the bottom row, and then the bottom row was Brooke, Nia, and Paige. And the moms discussed Abby leaving early in Pyramid, and Melissa said she was mad because Abby lied to her because she said she was going to see her mom. And then the moms asked Melissa a little bit more about it and everything. And so, yeah, they kind of had that moment. And I think they even said they needed to confront Abby, but she was like not having it. And then Christy was mocking Kathy being happy about getting 9th place. Taylor is finally back. That's what Kathy is saying. And I don't know why she was taking off the boot that she had on her foot. And then Chloe has solo rehearsal, and like I was saying, the mom should have get Melissa to confront Abby about lying to her and all that stuff, and Melissa said that she's getting slack for the favoritism, and then the moms confront Abby and say that they want equal treatment, and the plan was for Melissa to do that, and you already know that she didn't, so, it is what it is. And Mackenzie has a solo rehearsal, there's a group rehearsal, and Holly clocks that Melissa threw them under the bus, because she basically was like, oh, I'm tired of the favoritism that, all the moms said it have, and da-da-da-da, like, why'd you do that? And Christy's like, why didn't you say, why did you lie to me? And Melissa's like, it's hard for me, and blah, blah, blah. So then there's a trio rehearsal. Maddie's running the trio music and is demonstrating for them. And Abby asked her to count Chloe's section and to watch Chloe doing her section. And Kelly said that she felt like the choreography was bad and stuff. And she asked Paige, Nia, and Maddie to watch Chloe's solo and critique it. And she was definitely putting the pressure on Chloe. I think she even says the pressure is on you. And she's basically putting all her eggs in Chloe's basket for that week because Maddie got the solo. And so she just wanted her to bounce back in time, basically. And so there's a group rehearsal. Chloe's hip hurts, Christy brings her ice, Abby rehearses Maddie's solo, and she says that she just gave her that, but she's preparing to scratch her for the competition. And then she discusses her forgetting the solo and that she wants her to prepare. And she said she scratched the solo, but she didn't. And that, she wants her to do it at the competition, basically. And Maddie's like, I'm not ready, I'll do it next week. So now we're at the competition. The trio was girls in the house, so this was Chloe, Brooke, and Paige. It was alright, they've had better solos overall, kind of felt like a setup, no shade. And then Chrissy's a confessional A because she's like, Paige forgot to kick her foot. And in the Abby Lee Dance Company, that is the end of the world. Paige, Armageddon, it's upon you. You didn't kick. Chrissy has so many good confessionals, and I'm finding a lot of really funny ones this rewatch. And Kelly said that the choreo was basically trash, and Mackenzie perfect fit solo. She ate, and then she fell and she forgot a part, and she went off stage. And then, the girls comforted her, Abby comforts her, and she made Maddie put on her solo costume. And then she said it's her decision. And Maddie said she didn't want to make her mad, but she's just not ready to do the solo and that she's sorry. And it's so sad. She felt all that pressure. And then Maddie ends up getting her solo scratch. Her and Abby agree on that. But I didn't get through to the people at the competition. And so she tried to go and do it. And then she cried and they stopped her. And Abby said they didn't know that I already took care of it. Well, how do you take care of it if you know what? I digress. And so Christy asked about the trio, and so Chloe's solo was keep burning. I thought it's alright. She has better solos, but she did decent. And then they rehearsed the group in the dressing room, and even Melissa saying that Abby realizes that the choreography is watered down. And then she talks to Maddie before the group. The group was I Want It Now. Chloe has a lead in this dance. I thought it was a fun dance for what we saw. Mackenzie got 10th, Chloe got 5th, the trio got 3rd, and the group got 5th. Abby rips on the girls in their turns, and then the moms get the girls out as they keep arguing, and Kelly's like, Abby, your choreography sucks. And then she said that she got stale, and then she's like, maybe I should go to a different studio, me and Christy. And Abby says, Christy and I, you idiot, Christy and I. And so then she tells her that she's still again, I think. And then she's like, don't eat me, Abby, don't eat me. And we all know what happens in season 4, episode 7. Now on to episode 15. So for the pyramid, Chloe is on top again. Then the middle row, it's Nia and Brooke. Last row was Paige, Mackenzie, and Maddie. And Maddie was there because she declined to do solo, which I felt like was ridiculous. And Abby tells Holly, you're going to be doing group costumes for the week. And Melissa says it wasn't fair that Maddie was last and that she was pissed. And Melissa says that she's not working at the front desk anymore. So I think she also felt like it had something to do with that as well. Paige has her solo rehearsal. And Abby tells Kelly that the chair for Paige's solo needs rubber stompers, because this was the week that she was going to be doing a tongue twister solo, because she had that in season 1, but Kelly ended up pulling it. So I was like, you know what, you're going to do it again. So she's like, you need rubber stoppers for the chair, and it has to be ready for the next day. I'm going to let you take the chair home tonight. And so she also says that she wants Brooke to take voice lessons at the studio, and Kelly says that she doesn't want Abby to be in Brooke's singing career. This is something that she wants to do just with her daughter. And Melissa talks to Abby about getting Maddie a private. Brooke has her voice lesson, and then this is whenever she sings Summer Love Song. And Holly and the moms work on the group dances and Chrissy's confessional 8. And then there's the group rehearsals, and then there was Abby calling Kelly a dingbat again, which is, you know, parallels season 4, episode 7. And then this is whenever she throws the chair with Paige in the room because she realizes that there's no stoppers on it and that it was getting painted black. And then Kelly argues and she was like, good luck paying your bills without my tuition. And then she has the iconic moment, I spent all day making costumes for you while you were down the road eating. Stop eating. That's why you're fat. 8. And then Kelly brings Brooke and Paige back to the studio the next day, I believe. And then I think that the moms work on the costumes outside, and she just is glad to, you know, be away from all that. Chloe has her Unchained solo rehearsal. Maddie has a private with Abby. And then, you know, she says it isn't the same Maddie, and that, you know, her forgetting the solo, you know, it's different. And Melissa threw Chloe under the bus talking about, you know, she's going to the movies, and I think that she said that she rolls her eyes in class all the time, which I thought was just a really messed up thing for her to do. I mean, really? And then they get on the bus, there's no Kelly. Melissa tells Maddie to tell Abby that she wants to do her solo and everything. And Abby can tell that Maddie didn't really want to do it whenever she goes and talks to her and everything. And Melissa budges in like, no, she really wants to do it. And Abby said, you know what, I'm going to throw the kid in there. If she says she wants to do something, let's show her I mean business. And then the moms are pissed because like, why did you do that? Kelly, Brooke, and Paige show up separately. And Kelly was mad because Abby was not paying attention to Paige running her solo. And then she found out Maddie was doing a solo, and she's like, why is she performing? And then she pulls her kids' solos due to this. And I will die on the hill that you already went to the competition. They had their costumes. They were ready for the solos. Let them perform. I get it sucks that she wasn't watching the dance and all that stuff, but they were already there, you know? So I will say that, you know, I still don't get it to this day. I really don't. And like, that's one of the things that doesn't make sense to me, but I digress. And so Chloe has her Unchained solo, which 8. Maddie's In My Heart solo. She does that one. And then the music skips this time. I don't get why she just wanted to get the opportunity to do it again since the music skips. I really don't get it. And then we had Chloe getting 3rd for her solo. Maddie got 2nd. And Brooks Paint the Picture. It was unaired, but this solo absolutely ate, so I gotta give it its 10s. And Chrissy asked Kelly what she'll do about the group number, and she says, if you need the kids, I will let them do the group. And then they have the Circus duet. So this is Mackenzie and Nia, which 8. Abby was impressed with the costumes for the group. The group was glam pictured. And I thought that this was a really good group. I thought it was entertaining. I like when they do the more contemporary alternative pieces. And I thought that they all did well in it. So it was a good group. Nia and Mackenzie's duet won, the group won. Abby and Kelly argue, and Kelly was like, look, I was here to play ball, but I just didn't like the whole situation and everything. And so, yeah, that was episode 15. Episode 16, so for the pyramid, Maddie wins on top, and then Nia and Mackenzie for the second row. And then Chloe, because she went to the movies, was at the bottom. And then Paige and Brooke are on probation. And Kelly says that Abby has been in the dance world long enough to know that when the music skips, you win. And so there's something there. And again, there's 2 studios coming to beat them. And Kelly doesn't get why Maddie's on top of the pyramid. Abby asked Kelly to speak about what happened the past week. And she said she can't have the loss of control and the profanity. And Kelly clocked it. Abby threw a chair with her daughter in the room. And Abby pulled out the contract and read it to her. And Silver Spoon's rehearsal is happening for the group. And Holly asked, why is Chloe skipping rehearsal last week, an issue this week exactly? And then Melissa was saying some BS, like, be quiet. And then she admits that she's the one that told Abby that. And they're like, okay, like, why are you doing that? And Kelly says that Melissa told her that if Maddie's music skips, she was instructed to keep dancing. And the moms argue, and Melissa says that she didn't practice the music skipping. And so Maddie and Chloe have their duet rehearsal for Inside of Me, and Melissa interrupts rehearsal to talk to Abby about the music skipping. And so she said it would ruin Maddie's reputation, and Abby was like, what about my reputation? She said that she didn't cheat, and Melissa says that she ultimately believes her. And I swear somebody said that Abby admitted to giving her skip CD. So if she did that on purpose, then that's foul to do, honestly. So that's something there. And then there's a group rehearsal, Nia's solo rehearsal. The girls watch that. And Maddie has her solo rehearsal. And Melissa was nervous about Mackenzie's solo. Melissa goes to lunch with Holly because she feels like she's the only one who wouldn't scream at her. And she discusses the whole music skipping issue, I believe. They have group rehearsal. The girls try on their costumes and rehearse the solos. Abby has Paige and Chloe switch costumes during the Silver Spoons group rehearsal and everything. Chloe says the dress is too small, and the moms are mad. She was like, she'll really do that just to make sure that Paige doesn't stand out and everything. So that was messed up to do. And then they get to the competition, and Chloe and Maddie do their Inside of Me duet, which ate best duet this season. And then the moms discuss the costume fiasco. The group was Silver Spoons. I'm pretty sure this is to the Sims music. They've had better dances, to be honest with you. I don't know why Abby was so gung-ho about that, but I digress. The duet gets second, which is surprising. The group got second. The studios who went to beat them actually ended up winning. And Christy makes a joke about the scratch CD. Maddie does her Helen Keller solo, which her best solo that season, I don't care, it's underrated. Nia does her Bounce solo, which I thought was decent. Mackenzie Daisy Chain solo, I thought 8. She ends up winning. Nia got 9th, Maddie got 4th overall, and so Kelly argues with Abby about the costume fiasco, and Abby's like, we already did it and everything, and Kelly said something, and Abby said, I will not take these accusations, and then she said a bunch of BS to the girls and everything, and so that was the end of episode 16. Now on to episode 17, so for the pyramid, Mackenzie was on top, and then Maddie and Chloe in the middle row, and for the last row, it was Nia, Brooke, and Paige, and I think Abby said something like, those girls should have came up to me and asked them to do their solos anyways, and I agree with Kelly, why would they ask? Because of how rude that she is to them on a constant basis and everything. And so yeah, there was some other dig I think that Abby said or somebody said. And so Brooke says that she wants to go to her formal and everything. Abby was like, okay, far be it for me to keep you from it. They have a group rehearsal. And then she ends up bringing Peyton in again, I believe. And so I agree, like, why do they need somebody else? Kelly says Peyton pushed Paige. Kelly and Christy go dress shopping with Brooke for the formal. Peyton hurt her finger. And Melissa said Peyton was bullying Maddie as well. And Christy clocked Leslie. And there is Maddie's solo rehearsal. There's Chloe's solo rehearsal. And Abby tells Maddie and Melissa about a plan, and this is the plan, I think, to go to 2 different competitions and see if she can win 2 crowns in 2 hours, which I thought was messed up to do, and it was very sneaky. That's why whenever Abby is trying to call somebody a sneak, I'm just like, please. Like, you and Melissa have done a lot of sneaky stuff. They have group rehearsal, they go to the competition, and she tells Peyton, don't say that you're better than everyone. They rehearse the group. The group was the Huntress. I thought it was mid. It was like a Hunger Games themed dance. Mackenzie ends up falling in that dance, but I don't think it was that big of a deal. Group got second, Christy Confessional 8, and she asked Peyton how she felt like she did and wanted to see if she said that she got, better than everyone else. And she was like so happy that she didn't say that. It's like you coached her on what to say. So I don't know why you're surprised that she did exactly what you asked. And then Chloe does her What Goes Around solo, which, she just had better choreography. And I think this is the one where Christy's like, Maddie and Chloe's choreography aren't even in the same stratosphere. I would agree. And then Maddie does her Looking for a Place Called Home solo, which 8. And then Chloe got 3rd. Maddie won. I agree with whatever Christy said on Confessional. And then Leslie was capping about something. I feel like she said that her choreography was just as good as Maddie's or something like that. And Christy said, again, it was like subpar. Melissa acting shocked about them going to another competition was crazy. Like, she couldn't even pretend. She said, what? Like there was no even attempt. And then Maddie performs Cry Again, and she wins again. And then Kelly clocked it, and they left the competition, and then they left their trophies there. Now on to episode 18. So Abby said that she was mad about the loss, basically, for the pyramid. She had Maddie on top of the pyramid twice, so that was that episode. And then the second row, Chloe and Paige, and then Nia, and then Mackenzie. Something about her chewing gum, which I thought was ridiculous. And then it was Brooke. And Abby said that she wasn't going to give Paige solo rehearsal time. Makes no sense at all. Like, she literally just said, like, you have to practice it on your own. So I really don't get that argument. And so Abby takes the probation sticker off of Brooke and Paige. And Melissa, the fact that she was like, oh, I wouldn't say anything if their kids had, 1-2 crowns, their kids wouldn't get that opportunity to. That is the entire point. Like, she is so dense. It really irritates me. Abby brings in ringers because they're going to be going against Kathy and everything. So she's like, you bring ringers, I'm going to do it too. And then the moms are against it because they're like, you're against her doing it, but you're doing it. And so Jill said that she's feeling away now because whenever Kendall came, she was basically the star. She got all this attention, and then Kathy stopped giving Kendall that, so she felt away. Kathy brings in guest choreographers, time 1 of a billion. And then there's a group rehearsal, and I agree with Kelly that it's not a fair chance not giving her the opportunity to rehearse the solo with Abby and everything, especially because she got entered for a title that week. And she was like, why are they taking gymnastics class right now? And Christy clocks how Paige isn't given rehearsal time, and Christy and Kelly talk to Abby about why they're in gymnastics and everything. And so that's that moment. And Kelly and Christy go to lunch and they discuss Paige's solo. And Kelly says, you know what? I'm going to re-choreograph it. I think the choreography is weak. And Christy's like, she's going to be mad. And Kathy's choreographers are a joke. Like, that clip of the choreography is absolutely horrible this episode. And then we have Kendall's solo rehearsals. And then Jill says that Kathy needs to step it up. And then Chloe's solo rehearsal. And then Melissa talks about her conversation with Jill and says that Kathy was bringing in some new choreographers. And then Kelly changes Paige's dance, and Paige was nervous that Abby was going to be upset with her. They get to the competition, they run the solos, and Kelly was thankful she didn't have time to run Paige's solo because, she didn't want her to see the new choreography. Chloe has her Angry Bird solo, which I thought was decent for what we saw. Paige, a tongue twister. It looks mid. I really would have liked to see Abby's original choreography for it because it had to be better than what Kelly gave. Yeah. And then Kendall does My Dear Friend. This is whenever the music skips. It was a chop. Kathy was pissed, and Kathy was trying to comfort Jill. And there was this choreographer that was trying to comfort Jill, and he was about to laugh his ass off. Like, the look on his face was so funny. And then Jill talks trash on Kendall. Kelly tries to comfort Paige. Abby comes in and they argue. And Paige was like saying that she wanted to be challenged more, which is why she ended up going with her mom's choreography. And so there's that. And then Candy Apples was the Asian Empire dance. And I think this is whenever Chrissy was like, I think that Kathy should get a special judges award for finding new ways to use Vivi as a human prop. So I think it was this episode. And then we had the Land Unforgiven dance with the ringers. I don't really get the hype. Kendall didn't place. Paige got 7th. Chloe got 6th. ALDC got 5th for the group dance. Candy Apples didn't place. And Kelly said to Abby, I think you underestimate Paige. And the choreographer tries to comfort Jill. She complains. Jill and Kathy argue. Abby sees Jill and she tries to get a couple jags in. And Jill says that Candy Apples' time might come to an end. To episode 19, they have the pyramid. On the top is Chloe, middle row Maddie and Nia, Brooke off probation, and then Mackenzie and Paige. And she tells the girls that they are auditioning for Drop Dead Diva, and the moms discuss the TV opportunity. Leslie comes up, unfortunately. There's group rehearsal, and Kathy informs students that Jill has decided to leave, and that they will also be auditioning for Drop Dead Diva. So then they have the practice for it. The moms go out for lunch, and Christy asks why she invited Leslie to her birthday party and her confessional 8. And she tells the moms that Chloe will miss rehearsal for her field trip and another confessional at 8. And Abby and Christy argue about Chloe missing rehearsal, and Leslie asks if Peyton will be able to do a solo. There's group rehearsal, there's Maddie's solo rehearsal, there's trio rehearsal, and Christy points out that she put Peyton in Chloe's spot and everything, and she was just kind of worried about her not being there, but the moms were like, she picks up well, she'll be fine. Kelly asks why Peyton has a solo. Peyton has her solo rehearsal. Christy asked what Kelly was talking to Abby about. Chloe returns, and then Abby's talking about, I can't believe she had the nerve to show up. Really? Chloe has a solo rehearsal, and I thought it was interesting how she mentioned something about Chloe standing back tuck, because in season 3, I think it's episode 4, they do this group dance and everything. I don't remember what it was called, it's escaping me, but she mentions the whole thing about a standing back tuck, and there's a big argument with that, so it's kind of interesting she brought it up in season 2. And so she asked Chloe run her solo again. She's like, I want to see if you know it, and she knew it. They celebrate Kelly's birthday. Leslie shows up. Christy and Leslie argue. Leslie called Christy a drunk. Christy kicks her out. Leslie throws a bottle, and then Christy cries. And she made some point that I agree with Christy. They get to the competition. Christy and Kelly run into Leslie and they argue. Chloe's Trouble solo A. I think this is a very underrated solo. And then Maddie has her mom, It'll Never Be the Same solo, which is mid. And then the trio was Nothing's Gonna Stop Us. And so this was Paige, it was Nia, and it was Mackenzie. I thought it was decent overall. I think this is the one where Nia falls on her front aerial. And then they don't really feel good about the performance and they're scared they're going to get in trouble. Abby was mad. Payne has her Eternally solo, which I thought was mid. And then Abby says, it's my way or the highway again. Leslie starts crying about something. Group, all kids go. Yeah, I don't know why they were bawling over it. It was kind of mid. At least I think this is the one they were crying over. I don't really get it. Chloe got 4th. Maddie got 1st. Peyton got 2nd. The trio got 5th. The group got 1st. And then Abby needs to be for real. Payne doesn't fit with the group. And then her talking about, and I'll start messing with your kids. You already do that now. Let's be for real. It's episode 20. So Jill comes back with blonde hair and she's asking if, they can come back. I made a mistake going to Candy Apples. And the street said that they came back earlier than we would think. So I thought that was interesting. And they argued and Abby's like, it's not really the time. On top of the pyramid was Maddie. And then middle row, Brooke and Chloe. Last row was Paige, Nia, and Mackenzie. Nick comes in for the group rehearsal because this is whenever they do the Twilight dance. And then they talk about Jill's new hair. And Abby says Kendall home because she just has to think about her place in the group. Paige has her solo rehearsal. And Jill interrupts to ask if Kendall can come back. And Abby thought how she can come back. And it was just inappropriate. And then this is whenever Nia has her working girl rehearsal. And I thought that bit where Abby was dancing was funny. Holly comes in. And then there's the Drop Dead Diva casting director calls. Maddie ends up getting it. There's a group rehearsal. Jill comes back. Abby tells Jill to leave. Abby is cutting people from the dance. And Abby talks to them about Drop Dead Diva. And so, yeah. And this is the one whenever she's talking about Nia's hair. And she's like, this hair is horrible. And then Holly's like, why don't you fix your face and your body and everything else? And the girls were laughing so hard because, yeah, you got clocked. And she was like, it says, do not change your hair color. Exactly. It says hair color. It didn't say hairstyle. Exactly. She was clocked. Maddie does her solo rehearsal. And this is the one where she has Maddie bringing all of her crowns, which I just thought was really inappropriate. And Kelly clocked it that she shouldn't be doing that. Kendall was crying because her stomach hurts. Nia, Working Girl 8. Maddie, I Can't Find the Words, was a good solo. Paige, Creme de la Creme. I still think that's her best solo. And so Nia gets 9th, Paige gets 6th, Maddie got 1st. Abby was wondering why Kendall had a bow in her hair. Paige was trying to do her standing back tuck and she breaks her foot in the dressing room. And so for the group, we have Twilight. So this was the one with Brooke, Maddie, and Chloe and Nick. I got an 8, one of the best groups. And they won with the group. And now Jill trying to shush Abby. And this is the one. This is going to cost me a lot of money in therapy. Now on to episode 21. So Pyramid, Maddie was on top, middle row, Nia and Brooke, and then the last row was Chloe, Mackenzie, and Paige. And now to the group rehearsal. Paige came in with the broken foot, and so we had that. And so then Jill and Kendall come in, and Jill was going to hell because she was asking all these questions to Paige about her foot and all that stuff, and then she was just saying, unfortunate for Paige, fortunate for Kendall, so that's kind of messed up. And so Jill talks with Abby, and then Christy ate with whatever she said, and Jill throws Chloe and Brooke and Paige under the bus, saying that they don't really show up to rehearsal, and Kendall will show up to rehearsal. And Kelly confronts Jill, why are you asking Paige all these questions? It's inappropriate. Brooke has her solo rehearsal, and so this is whenever she has the Diary of Anne Frank solo first assigned to her, and Kelly's the one who doesn't even know who Anne Frank is. And she was like, I don't think that she was doing cartwheels. So, that was iconic. Mackenzie has solo rehearsal. They rehearse Chloe's duet with the other girls because this was the week that she was supposed to have with Paige, but because of the injury, she's out, so Abby needs to find out who the replacement is. She decides to put Kendall in, and Jill needs to be for real. She's talking about, do you think I went to Abby and said put her in the duet? Well, yes, that's exactly what you did. Why do y'all lie? We're not gonna have the footage to go back on. Oh my, her and Melissa always lie. And then the moms talked to Abby about the duet, and Abby made a point though that the duet is with Chloe. She had the music and the costume and stuff like that for Chloe, so for Holly to kind of expect her to switch it up and do certain things for it to cater to me, it didn't really make sense and everything because she already had everything worked out. So Abby actually kind of ate. I'll give her that one little thing. They have a group rehearsal, and then Jill was talking about let somebody else do a solo, and so I thought that was inappropriate. Maddie Films dropped a diva. Abby ends up putting Kendall in the duet. The group was Alouettes, And I thought that it was okay. You know, the group wins and Mackenzie has, you know, You Love It, which was a good solo. Kelly pulls Brooke number because she was in pain. And then Jill needs to shut up. Like, she really does. Talking about, I wish Kelly would have pulled Brooke's solo earlier so Kendall could do one. Really? Really? You think she was automatically going to give one to Kendall when she didn't even think she was on the team at that point? Like, we have to be for real. And I don't know why she was accusing Brooke of faking it because there were other girls at the competition. Like, she had been in pain that entire week. And calling her lazy I thought was disrespectful. Maddie has This Is Me Over You, which was good. Chloe and Kendall have Chasing Answers, which 8. Mackenzie got second. Maddie got first. The duet got first. And Abby asked Maddie to show girls the Drop Dead Diva dance. Maddie and Melissa leave, the moms argue, and so then she starts arguing with Christy and everything, and Abby calls Chloe a sneak and a snake, and saying that, you know, she might not be talented anymore. Look at Brooke. I was like, oh my god. And I forgot that Abby actually calls Christy a whore first. Like, if you see that fight and everything, she said something about being a whore selling stuff at the bar or something like that. And so Christy retaliated and called her a whore back. But Abby called Christy that first. And I forgot that happened. So I had to have that note. Now on to episode 22. So Pyramid, Nia was on top, then Chloe, then Maddie, then Mackenzie, Paige, and Brooke. And she says Nia will be team captain for the week. There's group rehearsal. And I agree with Christy and Kelly. Why do they have to drag Maddie to their level for the dance? Because that's basically what the Taken Dance was about. And then Christy and Melissa end up arguing. And then Melissa's like, I did not have an affair with my boss. And I don't know why Jill said with Melissa out of the picture that opens up doors for Kendall. Let's be for real. And so then she shows Abby her lamp that she has for Chloe's solo, so they kind of discuss that. And then Melissa and the kids aren't there. Kathy prepares for the week. And I don't know why those two choreographers were back because y'all didn't win and they're trash. And she tells them that Jill and Kendall went back to ALDC. There's group rehearsal, the Candy Apples duet and group rehearsal, and then Abby has Nia call Maddie and tell them to come back, basically. And then Melissa comes and drops them off because she doesn't really want to deal with all the other moms, and Abby finds out Kathy is going to be going to the competition, and Abby talks to Melissa and she asks for an explanation about why she wasn't there, and Melissa gets told Maddie will do a solo at the competition because she finds out Candy Apples is going to be there, and she's like, no, I'm not having her learn a solo the night before the competition. Chloe has her solo rehearsal, and the moms ask Melissa why Maddie won't do a solo, and she says it was because of what I just said, but then she's like, I don't want the moms to be mad at me, so which is it? Is it both reasons? Like, I don't know. And then Jill said something that was ridiculous. I don't remember what she said. And Mackenzie and Kendall have their duet rehearsal, and Abby asks Maddie what is the truth about why she isn't doing a solo, and she just put her in an uncomfortable position yet again. And Abby talks to Melissa again about the solo, and she's like, no, like, I'm not having her do it. And so we get to the competition. Chloe has her Leave the Light on solo, which 8, especially like that one turn section at the end. I thought it was a really good solo. Justice Shipwreck, I thought it was just kind of a mid solo. And Abby clocked how I had mid choreography. And really, why are you saying now, Maddie, can you see why I wanted you to do your solo after Chloe performs? And Melissa apologizes to Abby for not having Maddie do the solo and everything. And the group dance was whenever they did Taken. And why Maddie moved her head like that at the end, that sends me. And so Candy Apples does my hair like this, which was mid. They had to stop it because they forgot to cheer. Chloe got second, I think it was by like a 1/10 of a point. And then, so there was that. Justice was first. And so then the Candy Apples group got third, ALDC got first, and Christy clocked it because Abby's always bringing up how sometimes boys get, you know, more points and everything because they want them to win. And now all of a sudden, like, she's going to hate on Chloe, please. And then Candy Apples, the promotion, that was the duet. I thought it was mid. And then the ALDC reservation for 2 with the Kendall and Mackenzie. I thought it was good. It was decent. Candy Apples gets second. ALDC gets first. Abby and Kathy argue in the dressing room. And then Kathy and Melissa argue because she was saying that her kids don't go to school. And she was like, well, you're the one that called Vivi a human prop. So I think that you should take your Technicolor ass out of here. So that was episode 22. Episode 23, so for the pyramid, Nia's on top, and then Mackenzie and Brooke, and then Chloe, Maddie, and Paige. And Jill was mad that Kendall wasn't on the pyramid, and it is recital week. And so this is whenever they get the group dance Light My Fire, and Maddie's like, none of us can hip or hop. Abby wants Paige to be in the routine despite her broken foot and everything. And Abby wants to see Kelly's teammates at the show, and she discusses, you know, that there will be scholarships. There's group rehearsal. Abby talks about Paige's injury with her, and Jill, the whole situation about Brooke leaving for cheerleading was different than you leaving and going to her rival. Like, it's not the same. Jill talks to Leslie in the parking lot and everything, and she says it won't work being in the group, that Kelly talks sexually about men, and she talks about Melissa's divorce and how she met, you know, her fiance or whatever. Kathy and the moms decide to go to the recital. There's group rehearsal. Abby decides to put Peyton in the group. Abby puts Chloe as a lead over Maddie and Trout because she didn't do solo, which I thought was a rotten thing to do. Like, someone's opportunity shouldn't come at the expense of somebody else, you know? And so then Abby was running recital rehearsal, and Kelly has a problem with that Paige is doing more than what the doctor said was okay, and, you know, with what her and Abby agree with, because they agreed that she was going to dance from the waist up, basically, and not really move the legs, and she was just having a problem with that. And Leslie tells Abby that Peyton can't do that schedule, and Abby told her she'll fix it. And I don't know why she was still yelling at her about that, and like all that was like, Leslie gets into so unnecessary arguments. I don't really get it. Abby and Kelly argue again. Paige gets hurt, and Abby asks her what she wants to do. Kelly and Leslie argue about Paige, and then Leslie's like, you need an AA meeting and a therapist. That's 2 meetings you need to go to. And then Kelly was saying that she's the fucking liar, and then they argue. And then Kelly leaves. Melissa tries to stop her, and Leslie tells Abby that Kelly left. The moms go out and drink. Kelly comes back. Kathy shows up, and then they do the Light My Fire group dance, which I just thought was mid. It really was. And Christy ate whenever she said, I think that Light My Fire proved to Pittsburgh, if you want to learn hip-hop, don't come here. Kendall was crying. Chloe, as the lead in Trapped, ate, but I like both versions of Trapped for the record. Jill gets Abby flowers. Maddie and Nia gets scholarships. Abby, Kelly, alumni scene 8. And then Abby meets Kaya. She invites her to the studio saying, I always need, you know, more students, and this is the one. And now I want to sit back and enjoy my evening when I hear this agitating, grating voice. And then her and Kathy argue, which was iconic. And then she was like, I don't know how she got here. I didn't see a broom. And then she finds out that Jill invited Kathy, and she was livid about that. Now on to episode 24. Abby was happy with the recital, and so with the pyramid, Maddie was on top, and then it was Nia and Chloe, and then Mackenzie, Brooke, and Paige. And then they had a group rehearsal. I thought Brooke's commentary was funny. And then the moms discussed the group dance. Kaya and Nakaya come in, and I don't know why she decided to bring her there if she thought that the kids didn't give an entertaining performance and that they were boring to watch on stage. I really don't get that. And so I'll definitely say that. And so Abby, you know, works with Nakai. She wants to see what she can do. And whenever Black Patsy went down, they talked trash, and, you know, they were just offended that she basically said the recital was boring. And so Abby didn't like that Nakai didn't know certain dance terminology. And Kai was like, you know what, we're going to learn her stupid terms, and we're going to play the game she wants us to play. And so, yeah, I just agree with Christy in the fact, why would you add someone so late in the competition season? Because nationals were only a few weeks away. So I definitely agree with that standpoint and everything. And then Paige and Brooke were just singing along to Summer Love Song, and Brooke was talking about it. Continue to talk about her. Kaya comes in, and then there's tension. And then apparently Kelly and Christy said that it wasn't that quiet whenever Kaya revealed that she was a lesbian. That's what they say, and they try to make it look away. But Kaya said that you could hear a pin drop. So I don't know. And then Chloe has her glitz and glamour solo rehearsal, and the fact that she said that she wants her to portray somebody that would step over you to get ahead, that's Chloe. What? Like, she hated her so bad. Paige got cleared by the doctor to dance. Abby wasn't sure if Nakaya would be in the number due to Paige coming back and that she will go as a swing. The moms go to lunch with Kaya, and Kaya clocked it that they're all crazy dance moms, and she asked, like, what would it take to get to the team with Jill, and Jill was like, why would I tell her that? You know, I can't even get my own daughter on the team. And the moms feel like she thinks that she should just get on that easy and everything. Nia solo rehearsal. Abby was dancing again. Mackenzie has solo rehearsal. There's group rehearsal. Paige said that her foot still hurts. Kelly got mad and left. And the fact that she said broke back Brooke and peg leg Paige. Abby and the moms argue about Paige and the Kaya issue. They go to the competition. Kaya asks if she should get Nakaya ready. And Abby talks to Kelly about what is going on and says she doesn't want Paige to, you know, market and everything. And Kelly's like, look, she's marketing it here. She's not going to market on stage. Kelly and Kaya argue. Chloe glitz and glamour solo, you know, it's decent. She's had better solos. And then Nia's 20 Scott solo, one of her best solos. Mackenzie Hollywood was okay. Nakaya asked will she be in the dance. Abby runs the dance. She decides to put her and Paige in, and the group was I Can See the Kite Flying. And Chrissy's confessional for this was really, really funny, so I will say that. Mackenzie got 3rd, Nia got 7th, Chloe got 5th, the group won, and Abby makes no sense that she was saying you had a lot to say on the mic to Nakaya, because what did you expect her to do, like be quiet? And she was telling all the girls, don't let, you know, the new girl come in and steal your thunder, basically. But I mean, he was asking her at the studio, so yeah. Kelly and Kaya argued again, and she brings Holly in and says that she expected her to have her back. She calls Christy a liar, and they argue. And yeah, so basically with this scene, the unaired footage has like kind of come to light because they censored it, and she said like, take your black ass out of here or something. That's what Chrissy said. So Chrissy has her funny moments and stuff like that. She has the moments I agree with her, but she had a lot of microaggressions and basically racism towards Kaya. You know, most of the moms did, but you know, that was very unacceptable because being black isn't a bad thing. So I don't know what she was trying to imply there, but it was a bad moment, so she has to be held accountable. Now to episode 25. Abby thanks the girls for being so nice to Nakaya, and she tells the moms, I don't know what happened, because, you know, that's it with their stay on the ALDC. They leave. We see them again, you know, with candy apples and stuff like that, but that's it for them on ALDC. They're back in LA. The pyramid, Mackenzie was on top this week. In the middle, it was Chloe and Nia, and then the last row, it was Maddie, Brooke, Paige, and Kendall. And Melissa asked, you know, Maddie to ask for a solo and everything, and, you know, all the other girls had a solo, so I feel like she should have just gave Maddie one. And Abby was ridiculous, saying that she needs to beg for the solo back. And so Melissa leaves early. Chrissy confessional 8, and she takes Maddie and Mackenzie to MSA. Paige has her solo rehearsal, Chloe has her solo rehearsal, and Kelly reveals that they will record Summer Love Song professionally, and she wants the girls to sing backup. Nia has solo rehearsal. Melissa tells the moms that she went to MSA. Abby asks the girls where they went, and they tell her everything. Brooke has her solo rehearsal. They go to record Summer Love Song. Kendall has her solo rehearsal. Maddie comes to ask for the solo, and Abby was just rude about it. They filmed Brooke's video, and of course Abby made it miserable. Maddie asked for the solo again. Abby finally gives her one. And I think even the moms were trying to give Melissa a hard time, but I agree with Melissa in this stance, because if all of, you know, your daughters are getting a solo and one isn't, like, you would feel a way about that. So that's one of the only times I actually agree with Melissa. I will definitely say that. Maddie has her solo rehearsal. Mackenzie, a perfect day for fun at the competition. Meh. She forgets part of her solo. Kendall, Kiss Kiss 8. Nia, I like the 60s 8. Maddie, Piece of My Heart, thought it was mid. Chloe, Ghost 8. And I agree with Christy. Why is it based on 1 week? Because that's what she really tried to hammer through. Like, this is going to be, you know, who I'm giving solos to. Why is it based on that 1 week and not the entire season? Paige, City of Angels. I thought it was good despite the fact that she was injured. And so Brooke, Fly, good. First Class, which was unaired. You don't see it in this episode, but you can watch. Mackenzie got first. Chloe got 6th. Kendall got 5th. Maddie first. Nia didn't place. And Brooke got 4th. Now on to episode 26. So this is the finale for the season. So the pyramid, Maddie was on top. And then the middle row was Mackenzie and Brooke. And then Kendall, Chloe, Nia, and Paige. And so there is the group rehearsal. And I agree with Christy. Having them compete just sucks. And Jill sees it as Abby is giving Chloe another chance. And she's like, that's BS. Kendall beat Chloe. But like I said, Abby shouldn't have had it be a thing about, oh, like, whoever wins this week, like, it means something, because, like, you know it doesn't and everything, and she expected Chloe to win and everything, and that's kind of, like, why she's giving the opportunity, because she expected to just give Chloe the solo. She even says that in the confessional. So she never should have done that. And they find out that Paige isn't dancing in the last text, and they felt away about that, and Kelly says, you know, tell Abby that you want to do more, and Paige asks Abby about the dance, and Abby just gives her explanation as to why she won't be dancing more. And so Chloe and Christy run silence, and Christy's hard on her and everything. They get a message from Kathy saying, can't wait to be your ass, basically. Mackenzie has solo rehearsal. Abby tells girls that Kathy is coming. There's group rehearsal, Brooke rehearsal, Maddie rehearsal, and then Kelly's arguing with Abby, talking about she went 3,000 miles to do 3 steps, and Abby said, and be lucky she's doing those 3 steps. I agree with Abby in the stance that, like, Paige was hurt, so I feel like that's kind of why she was doing it. But then Abby also says that she was doing it because Paige forgot and everything, so maybe she was just trying to hate on Paige. But I mean, Paige was hurt whenever she's performing her solo and everything, so I think making it be like she didn't have to be on her feet that much, I can kind of get the perspective, but I don't know. I kind of lean with Abby more on that particular situation, but her saying I'd get back to the pediatrician was messed up. Kelly, Brooke, and Paige leave. The moms try to comfort Kelly and everything, and Kelly takes Paige for a photo shoot. Jill and Kendall work on solo. Kelly doesn't show up. Christy confessional 8. Kelly shows up. Abby and Kelly end up arguing, and then we have the solo audition final. And Abby said, you know what, Melissa, you're going to break the tie, because all the other moms, they voted for their kids. I don't know why Kelly didn't get her opportunity to vote out on this. I don't know. Maybe she felt like she was going to vote for Chloe anyways. But she said she made Melissa break the tie because she's tired of her being a people pleaser. And she's like, you know what, I think that Nia should do it. And then Jill was like, oh, based on that performance, you would put her on that stage? So mean, so mean. And then, you know, Abby's like, who do you think's going to get us the most points? And she's like, Chloe. So Chloe ends up getting the solo. She has a solo rehearsal and everything. Kathy comes in because they got the same rehearsal space, and they're chanting, "Clean Chloe's clock, clean Chloe's clock." And Kathy says her moms want to talk to Abby because Abby basically keeps saying that the moms are contacting her, on the low, trying to come to her studio and learn more. And Chrissy has Abby's back this time, getting Kathy out. And Abby says Justice's mom has contacted her. And, she's talking with her about it, and she does apologize. So, she lied, but she was talking to Abby. And so hearing the Paige I Want to Dance music early was interesting. They get to the competition and everything, and whenever they were just chanting, Maddie was mocking them, which I thought was funny. Maddie just telling myself, she's had better solos. I think she did decent with what she was given. Justice Never Surrender was mid. That's not nationals, worthy in my opinion. Brooke, Diary, and Frank 8. Wish we would have got to see more. Mackenzie Killer B 8. And Chloe Silence, spectacular. One of the best solos on the show. The costuming, the music, the choreography. We love it. Candy's Apples group was called The Storm, which was mid. Kelly shows Paige's photo shoot and everything. And then Abby was so mean, talking about Pretty Can Go Away real quick. Right, Kelly? Oh my god. And the last text, 8, one of Abby's best group dances. And then it always kills me, Kathy's confessional. She said, Abby's girls come out, and at first I'm thinking she's dragging out this crappy looking car seat. Did that come from Chrissy's front porch? Hysterical. Mackenzie won, Brooke won, Justice got third, Maddie got second, and Chloe won. Chloe's win with Silence was so satisfying to watch just because she lost to Justice early in the season, so to be able to beat him and to be able to beat Maddie, who Abby's constantly said she's so much better than you, it was something that was so great to see overall, and I feel like she really deserved that moment. She was always my favorite to watch, so to see her win in such a big pivotal moment, we absolutely love to see it, and that's why this is my favorite episode of the entire show. I think that is such a feel-good watch, especially with excellent solo like Silence. Candy Apples grouped in place, and ALDC won. Kathy congratulates them, and she says McDonald's has a hamburger with your name on it. Kelly gets emotional, wondering should my kids come back next season. Abby and Kelly argue. The moms and the girls are just kind of trying to comfort each other because they want Kelly and the girls to stay and everything. And then we have the Summer Love Song video premiere. So that's the end of the actual episodes of the season, and now we're on to the reunion. So now on to episode 27, part 1 of the reunion. So Christy agreed that Abby is too harsh on her students and everything, and I kind of gave a whole compilation of the best and worst moments of that season and stuff like that. And Christy says that they're at the studio to support their kids and everything because they're asked why, and they're just feeling the kids are going to grow up and we're not going to see anything that they do if we're not at the studio. So that's basically why they're there all the time, just to support the kids basically. Holly says that Christy and Kelly are tied for craziest mom. Kelly says Christy and that she pushes her kids for the craziest mom. And Christy says she pushed Brooke whenever she was young, and they kind of argue about that a little bit. And Christy and Kelly talk about being best friends, and the moms say that they're friends. Christy's whenever I need something, I go to Melissa and everything. Yes, we are on the show, but we're friends and everything. And Abby gets asked why she does Pyramid, and like I said, they said that they made Pyramid for the show. It's not something that Abby originally came up with. And she said she felt like it's a big lesson. And, in the real world, you don't get that. And at least she's explaining to the kids why they're in that position. And Chrissy said it's hurtful. Holly says it holds Abby accountable in her thinking. Melissa gets asked if she's concerned about Maddie's future. And Kelly says when Maddie doesn't win, she basically loses it. And letting her think she's always going to win is not going to help her. And they discuss how Abby's treatment of Maddie is harmful. And they argue about Abby having Maddie bring in her crowns and why that's harmful to the children. And then she's like, when my mother was 17, she paid for her parents' mortgage. And Kelly's like, I don't really give a shit what your mother did. I'm talking about me. 8. Abby saying she would throw that chair harder at Paige was messed up. Kelly says she isn't sure she's coming back. And Kelly says that scene in season 2 when she called Abby a whore, season 2, episode 1, that what we didn't see was that she went below the belt and she was coming at, Kelly's family members and stuff like that. And then we talk about her and Kelly's relationship. They argued about Maddie's music skipping and that she was instructed to keep on dancing. Christy calls Melissa a liar, basically. They discuss the great moments. Christy talks about her pregnancy with Clara. Christy said she had a hard childhood and wanted better opportunities for her kids. Abby says Chloe is her ticket out, basically. And Christy said she's my ticket, to raising a kid that I'm proud of. And if you can't see that, shame on you. Chrissy says she would have left the studio, but Chloe won a national title and everything. The Laquifa controversy is brought up. And Holly says she doesn't like the stereotyping, basically. Abby says she does it because she's ethnic and she has a chance to win that way, and it's the kind of job she'll get. And then they argue about Holly working. Jill comes in. Abby gets asked why she took Jill back, and she says she did it because of Kendall. And Chrissy talks Jill taking 20s out of strippers' wristband. And Jill says she didn't bend the rules with a costume situation in season 2, episode 6, because all all of them did use old costumes except for Christy. So, she feels like she didn't bend the rules. They discussed Melissa's personal life, and she said she wanted to keep the engagement private because her significant other is going through the divorce. And he brought up the letter that was sent to the moms when they got sued, and they said that they were hurt, and Melissa said that was Greg's attorney again, and Jill was like, why would you get engaged while he was still married though? Like, why wouldn't you wait? And Melissa was like, it's none of your business, that's what we wanted to do. They get asked about Kathy, and then they kind of describe what they think about her, and then they bring Kathy out, and then they clock her about the Clean Chloe's clock chant, and Kathy says that they don't chase after Abby. Well, sure is giving that good healthy competition. It's not good healthy competition when 9 times out of 10 you get beat, even when you bring out outside choreographers and ringers, but I digress. Chrissy says she appreciates Kathy's quick wit. Abby says that them arguing upsets the children. Kathy says there's a lot more life than winning. Kathy calls Abby a loudmouth, and Abby says that over there, Candy Apples, it is business first, town second. Episode 28, so this is part 2 of the reunion. So they talk about Kathy's mom dance, and she says that she had to pull together and she didn't want it to flop for Abby. And Abby kind of clocked her, like, about the choreography and all that kind of stuff, and Kathy says that she saw Abby earlier in the years and beat her and everything, and she says that Abby's girls have star quality and they just have to keep working basically. And Kathy says that she wasn't sad to see Jill go, that it was fun at first, but, she kind of got tired of it. And she calls Jill Barbie. She says she whines too much. She says she didn't bring her gifts, that Kendall didn't apply corrections, and that it just didn't work. She told Jill to shut up too. And they talk about Kathy putting Erica on the wrong age division and her having Taylor use Chloe's solo music. Abby clocks Kathy about using ringers. Kathy asks Abby why it bothers her, and then they just move on that quickly. The viewers ask Kathy why she brings in outside choreographers, and she basically says everyone does it. It's fun. It's for us to do. And Kelly says Abby holds a grudge, and she doesn't know if it was because she quit dance or what it is. And she says that, Abby liked a guy that liked her and she didn't date him, and that Abby says that she's not jealous of Kelly's life and thought Kelly had great potential and her parents didn't push her the way she needed. Kelly said, I'm happy with my life. She wonders why Abby holds that against her, and Abby agrees that she is letting her kids be mediocre. Kelly says she burned Brooke out and that she burned her out, and Kelly says that they're burned out because Abby makes them miserable. They argue. Kelly clocked Abby, and she says, their relationship is complicated, basically, and that it's hard to give up and her kids want to be there. Christy and Melissa rivalry gets brought up, and Chloe and Maddie and that whole situation. And Christy says she plays the innocent card and is sneaky, basically, and animosity comes from things that happened in years past and everything, and that, she needs to own that you're a stage mom. And Kelly says that it's different because they have to deal with each other. They both want their kids to be on top, and that Holly and her are different roles because they know that their kids are going to be on the bottom. They talk about the rivalry with Chloe and Maddie and how Melissa is making excuses when Maddie gets beat, and Melissa's saying that there's no reason to fight. She doesn't think that Chloe should have beat Maddie, whenever she gets pressed about nationals. That's, basically what she said. And that she thinks that they were equally good, but she thinks Maddie danced better that day, essentially. And Abby says the rivalry's good. Kaya joins, and then, they just show some footage from whenever she was on, I believe. And like I said, Chrissy said, don't let the door hit your black ass on the way out, which was, offensive. And she's like, Christy gave the strongest impression. Christy says again she didn't like someone being added so late. She says that Holly and Melissa made her feel comfortable, Kaya. And she said she heard the D-slur from Christy and Kelly, and they try to say that, they didn't say that. And she said she actually is a lesbian and stuff like that. And they thought that they might have to fight. And Kaya says, I'm here for my kid only. Y'all try to live through your kids. That's not what I'm doing. And that she's disappointed in Holly because she thought she would have stood up for her. And she said that she sees them, treat Nia different and, get excluded. And they said that they don't. Nia's been to the house and da-da-da-da. And Holly says Nia did light up whenever she saw Nakai and that it was nice. And she won't get a pass, and she's automatically going to defend her because of her skin color. She wants to judge on the content of character. And, she says the dressing room argument was stereotypical. Holly said that about Kaya. And Kaya said that she heard them say that she couldn't afford the tuition. Kaya said Kathy was fun. She didn't really get to meet her. And we know that she dances with her later. Holly embraced them and, needs friends and apologizes for calling her a sellout and embracing them. Kelly is the epitome of a crazy stage mom. I think that's what Kaya said, and she called her White Patsy, and she says that she's too emotionally involved and is living through her kids. She said Christy's too tough for her. She said she's really, really bitter and angry, calls her a bitter bitch, and that Kaya was a threat to her kid, basically. We didn't see it, but she was. And after seeing both of them dance, she wasn't, let's be honest. She called Jill a chameleon. She kind of goes whatever way the wind blows and everything. And they mentioned her not liking the concert. They felt insulted. And I feel like that's where a lot of the issues came from, to be honest. And she said she was asked and she was honest. And Holly said she went overboard. The girls are brought in and then they're just asked about, like, what are your favorite parts about being on the show? And then they also get asked about, like, what are their goals for next season? And they answer. Season 2 review. I talked a lot. I had a lot to say this season, clearly. And so basically, let's wrap up with my favorite routines this season. So for the solo, Chloe Silence solo, Brooke, Diary of Anne Frank, Mackenzie, Daisy Chains, and Maddie, Helen Keller were my favorite solos. For the duet, Maddie and Chloe Inside of Me. For the trio, Somebody Told Me, and for the group routine, I really enjoyed Twilight, The Last Text, Glam. I liked both versions of Trapped a lot, so those are probably like my absolute favorites. I did a whole video and I ranked all the group routines on season 2, and I kind of go into, you know, all that, so I'll try to leave that below if you guys want to see me talking about that. And I've done it for all their solos in season 2 as well, but you know, those are my favorite routines. So overall thoughts this season, I've said it once and I said it again, but this is definitely the best season of Dancemoms just in terms of overall entertainment. Like, I thought that there was a lot of really funny plot lines this season and stuff like that. I feel like the show's not taking itself too seriously and everything, which I really do appreciate. I think that the moms have a lot of funny moments in the season, and there's plenty of iconic moments from, you know, Jill throwing that cowboy hat to Kelly saying, "Stop eating, that's why you're fat." And, you know, Chrissy has so many funny confessionals as well. Yeah, there's a lot of just funny moments in the season. There's a lot of great dances in this season overall. Abby's not at her worst in terms of treatment of the girls. So yeah, I think that this is really the definitive season of Dancemoms. Like, if you're going to show somebody who'd never seen the show before episode, you would probably pick something in the season, because I feel like it kind of sums up the show the best. So I think that overall there's a lot of good episodes in the season, and that it is the best season of the show, and I really did enjoy watching it. Overall, Kaya has some moments that I agree with, some moments that I disagree with. I feel like she talked about the kids too much, but in terms of clocking like the racism and the microaggressions from the moms, especially Christy, she was definitely right on in that. I will say I cannot stand Leslie and everything. I think Jill is entertaining, but I think she's really much like Melissa in the fact she'll do anything to get Kendall ahead, and a lot of the comments that she made, especially at Nia and Holly's expense, I thought was incredibly distasteful. You know, I think the rivalry with the candy apples, you know, it really heats up the season and gets entertaining. But I mean, we have a lot of great episodes. I think the premiere is great. That's one of my favorites. I love whenever they do the bad apples. You have season 2 episode 6 with, you know, Jill throwing the hat. Season 2 nationals is like my favorite episode of the entire show and everything. It was nice to see Chloe get that win and everything, especially after everything that went down in season 1 with her forgetting the solo. She, you know, had that moment, and yeah, it was a lot of pressure, but so ultimately delivered, and I just thought it was a really fun and feel good episode to watch. So I think that those are my main thoughts on season 2 overall. If I have any other thoughts, then I will definitely leave a pinned comment down below, but I've already been talking for so long. But yeah, so I did a redo of season 1 and season 2 because that was before I changed the format basically, and I had a lot more detail, and I started doing episode by episode and talking about a lot more things, so hence why I redid this video. But I'm not planning to redo my videos for the upcoming seasons, because season 3 was the start of me changing my format and everything. So season 3 through season 8, those reviews are done, they're already out. I don't anticipate to re-record those and everything, and so, you know, there is that. And so thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you wanted to see more Dance Moms related content, I have done plenty of stuff. And so what I've done is I have done a review of every single season of the show, including season 1 and 2 re-reviews, you know, you're watching. And so I have ranked every single season of the show, gave my thoughts why. I did a mom pyramid. I have also ranked all the group dances and all the solos for all the seasons up through season 4 at the time that I am posting this video, and I intend to do it for the rest of the seasons as well. And I gave my favorite moments of the show. There's 3 parts of that. I'm working on part 4. That should come in the next month or 2. I'm really excited for that. And I have a few other things in the works that you guys will see eventually. But all my videos on the show will be linked down below in the description at the end of this video. But thank you so much for watching it. If you did enjoy it, give it a like below. It helps me out a lot to your algorithm. I very much appreciate it. You can subscribe if you would like to see more videos like this. If you hit the bell, you get notification for when I post and not miss some brand new videos come out. The first link down below in the description is going to be my main YouTube channel. I do reviews, reactions, so you can see my latest video over there. Also going to have social media, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, TikTok, Airbuds if you'd like to follow me. Free Palestine, this is something that we must educate ourselves on. And lastly, make sure that you're registered to vote. I'll be voting for Kamala in November. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.